This is BBC Three Counties Radio.
It's 6 o'clock, I'm Simon Oxley. The headlines: doctors raise concerns over dementia care, Greeks reject international bailout, and victory for Lewis Hamilton at Silverstone.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
Family doctors have raised renewed concerns about the level of support available for people with dementia and their carers. The Royal College of GPs was responding to an online survey for the Alzheimer's Society. More from Adam Brimelow.
In a UK poll of more than 1,000 GPs, half said the NHS wasn't doing enough for people with dementia, and 2/3 said social services were falling short. Over a quarter of GPs said they'd be less likely to refer people with suspected dementia if support services weren't in place. In a statement, the Department of Health said the Prime Minister had set a challenge for all NHS and social care staff to be trained to provide meaningful care and support for people with dementia, their carers and their families.
The Greek people have voted to reject the terms of an international bailout, with more than 60% rejecting further austerity. The Greek Prime Minister said the no vote was not a vote against Europe, but a mandate for him to negotiate a viable solution to Greece's debt crisis. Eurozone leaders are to hold an emergency summit tomorrow to decide how to respond. Richard Ashworth is the Conservative Party leader in the European Parliament.
You just can't vote away a debt that you've got. We would have to come to the European taxpayers and say, give us some more money so we can put into a black hole of people who are determined not to change their ways. That's not acceptable.
A relative of the family of 12 from Luton who are understood to have travelled to Syria to join the so-called Islamic State group has urged them to return home. Abdul Latif, whose brother and son are among the group, said his family had a great life in the UK. Speaking to the BBC from his home in Bangladesh, Mr Latif said he believed the family had been radicalised by one of the younger women.
I suspect my nieces, especially the youngest one who's called Razia, they were a bit radical. They were excessive with their niqab. I've heard that a year ago my niece Razia was questioned by British police there. Razia might have arranged the whole thing.
A 46-year-old man has been arrested on suspicion of attempted murder of a police officer after an incident at a block of flats in High Wycombe in the early hours of Saturday morning. One of the officers who went to the address in Olympic Way was attacked with a chisel. He suffered only minor injuries. A 46-year-old woman received hospital treatment for minor injuries. A review of phone scams shows that 80% of victims are over 55. The Financial Ombudsman Service is urging people to highlight the risks to older relatives. In sport, Lewis Hamilton admits he was close to tears as he won his third British Grand Prix at Silverstone yesterday. The Stevenage driver is now 17 points clear at the top of the World Championship.
140,000 people salute Lewis Hamilton as he comes across the line. Williams could have won the race, but it was Hamilton who did win the race, and King Lewis reigns at Silverstone.
I'm so happy with that. Thank you to all the fans that are coming. That one was for you. Thank you.
The weather dry and sunny, cloudier this afternoon though, a maximum temperature 22 degrees Celsius. And you can get the latest news and sport online at bbc.co.uk/3 counties.
Summer was gone and the heat died down, and autumn reached for her golden crown. I looked behind as I heard a sigh, but this was the time of no reply. The sun went down and the crowd went home. I was left by the roadside all alone. I turned to speak as they went by, but this was the time of no reply. Time of no reply is calling me to stay. There's no hello and no goodbye. To leave there is no way. The trees on the hill had nothing to say. They would keep their dreams till another day. So they stood and thought and wondered why. For this was the time of no reply. Time goes by from year to year, and no one asks why I'm standing here. But I have my answer as I look to the sky. This is the time of no reply. The time of no reply is calling me to stay. There's no hello and no goodbye. To leave there is no way. Summer was gone and the heat died down, and autumn reached for her golden crown. I looked behind as I heard a sigh, but this was the time of no reply.
That's the 6 o'clock come down, but just 3 hours before that, we were all dancing to this in a non-ironic way.
This is Iain Lee
on BBC Three Counties Radio.
It's today's Better Music Mix, isn't it?
Well, it's only a mix.
It's today's Better Music Mix. It could have been this.
Disco. The 80s.
Yeah, I'm having a disco. Oh, I can't stop it.
I did a gymnastics routine to that once.
Yeah, haven't we all?
I peered through my legs and saw Princess Anne. How many people can say that?
Is that what you call it? We've all seen your Princess Anne. Do you want to see my Prince Albert? Now.
No.
Good morning, guys. By the way, if you see Justin out on the streets today, he looks flipping hot.
I think he must appeal to a male audience because, I always think he's well turned out, but today...
He looks buff.
You especially are taken.
Well, I am, unfortunately, but this ring can come off if Dealey's in the house. He is like Buff Buffington. I've never seen any man look so sexual.
What?
As him. He looks... I don't mean in that sense, for goodness sakes.
What sense do you mean?
I mean No, I do mean in that sense. He looks hot. He looks like he's lost weight. He says he hasn't. He looks like he's dyed his hair. He says he hasn't. He said that's just down to the sun. Maybe it's the swag. It's the attitude.
Swagorama.
If you see him this morning, just keep back, because if you get sucked into his vortex...
He's pumping something out today.
Well, unfortunately he is, but I think he's been told to do that by the doctor. Now, speaking of doctors, here we go. Too many people with dementia are having to rely on family for help as the system fails to meet their needs. That's according to a poll of GPs who think the NHS is doing too little for people with the disease. Catherine, you've looked at the survey.
Yeah.
What does this survey of doctors say?
Right, this is a survey of doctors. They were asked by the Alzheimer's Society about the situation with their patients. Now, over 3/4 of GPs in this poll of 1,000 doctors think that their patients with dementia rely on family as they don't get enough help from health and social care services. Almost as many believe their patients are forced to depend on friends, neighbours and other unpaid carers for support. And the poll also finds that half of GPs think the NHS is doing too little to care for people with a condition. More than 2/3 believe patients don't get enough provision from adult social services after a diagnosis. And so the Alzheimer's Society is warning that too many people with dementia are being let down by a system which fails to meet their needs.
What do they want done about it?
The Society is pressing for a national action plan to combat dementia over the next 5 years, and it's making the following recommendations.
Here we go. Get your pens and papers at the ready, boys and girls.
It wants NHS England and local authorities to make sure that everyone diagnosed with dementia is entitled to a full package of support, including a dementia advisor.
OK, yes, that's one.
They want a single point of contact to help carers navigate the health and social care system. And all hospitals, care homes and home care should be dementia friendly.
OK, yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah,
I would have thought that would have been the case.
Precisely. Jeremy Hughes is the chief executive of the Society, and he says, our survey gives a stark view from the doctor's surgery of people with dementia being left struggling in the aftermath of a diagnosis. GPs report an endemic and deeply worrying lack of support available from health and social services, with relatives left to pick up pieces alone. People can need a lot of help to live well with dementia. Families and friends are a vital source of support, but they mustn't be relied on to do everything. As dementia takes hold, people with dementia and their carers look to statutory services to give them the backup they desperately need to cope.
And doctors themselves, what are they saying?
Well, we've got a statement from Professor Nigel Mathers, who is the Honorary Secretary for the Royal College of GPs, and it's long, so I'm going to read you just a bit.
Yes, just sub it down.
We need a better coordination of approaches for referral, assessment and treatment across the boundaries of primary, secondary and social care, so we can improve the services and access to services that will really make a difference to people with dementia and help them live healthy, independent and productive lives for as long as possible.
Oh, you subbed that down very well, actually.
Well, I've just read the last paragraph.
Yeah.
The thing is, right, you replace dementia with any other, long-lasting ailment, and you'll have people saying the same thing, that they're being left to manage. If you can manage, you're left to manage.
Yeah.
And, the definition of managing is quite loose. So that's that sorted.
I'm looking at my iPod for some... I haven't got what I want. The definition of managing is quite loose?
Yeah, it is. Because I remember with my grandparents, no one realised how ill each of them was because they were both doing their bit, and so unless you come a cropper, the authorities aren't going to get involved, are they?
OK.
And actually, a lot of elderly carers don't want to say that they're coming a cropper because they don't want the other one to be whisked off into a care home.
I tell you what's amazing is if I don't make eye contact with you, as I'm not, and I don't say anything, you just keep on talking.
It's called professionalism.
Is it though?
Yeah. It's chatterboxery.
Oh, OK. Well, I'll tell you.
All right, well, stop then.
No, you carry on doing what you do. I'm just, I thought
we were having a chat.
we're having a chat. I tell you what, I want to have a little bit of this.
Passiamo noi e la gente ci guarda ed amico un po' Ci chiamano i monkeys, siamo meno matti di chi si crede più intelligente di noi che la pensiamo così. Comunque parliamo, non è giusto mai, c'è sempre qualcuno che ne sa più di noi. Ci chiamano i monkeys, siamo meno matti di chi si crede più intelligente di noi che la pensiamo così. Ci chiamano i monkeys, ci chiamano i monkeys, ci chiamano i monkeys, ci chiamano i monkeys, ci chiamano i monkeys.
Travel news for beds, cards and bugs.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
Let's have a check on the M1 first of all. Looking fine as we check the sensors and cameras. No problems to report on the M25. If you are heading over to use the southbound M40, well, the southbound M40 is closed between 9 and 8A. Resurfacing work, overnight resurfacing works have overrun. Works are scheduled to finish now at 7 o'clock, although traffic may be led through at the moment, but we'll just keep you up to date with the M40, which is officially closed at the moment. Southbound 9 to 8A, queues from junction 10 this morning, from the A43, of course. As for trains, possible delays on East Midlands services, all because of derailment at Moorthorpe in West Yorkshire overnight. James Worley, BBC Three Counties Radio.
Thank you, James. Grumpy Skeletor's got it right on the Twitter. I'm not listening yet, but I presume Kath needs to move closer to the microphone. Love, Grumpy Skeletor.
No, I was proper Liam Gallagher in it today.
You're too close to that one.
What are you talking about?
You see what I mean? Okay, let's go for it. It is 6:16. It is Monday, the 6th of July. I'm Iain Lee. These are your headlines on BBC Three Counties Radio. Family doctors have raised renewed concerns about the level of support available for people with dementia and their carers. Eurozone leaders are cacking themselves after the Greek vote last night, and Lewis Hamilton has dedicated his third British Grand Prix victory to the 140,000 fans at Silverstone yesterday. Well, why don't you give them some of the money then?
Every weekday from 3. Local stories.
People in Watford are being urged to celebrate their local heroes by creating a postcard in their honour. In other local news, rugby fans are being warned to watch out for fake World Cup tickets.
Roberto Peroni.
Now, metal detector has discovered an archaeological find in a field near Royston in Hertfordshire. Taxi drivers in Luton are demanding to be allowed to drive in bus lanes at all times. There is to be a new station at the Leighton Buzzard narrow gauge railway.
Roberto Peroni, weekdays from 3 on BBC Three Counties Radio.
You
Morning, Iain Lee, BBC Three Counties Radio, 03459 455 555. Shh, we're down the rabbit hole. If you get a chance, if you've got a copy of the Daily Mirror, like we have, it's the only paper we've got, go and look at page 3. If you haven't got a copy of the Daily Mirror, go into your local Bunce's, Nissa, Happy Shopper,
John Menzies,
Smith's, and have a look at page 3. It's not mucky. Well, it is a bit. Well, no, it's not mucky. It's mutty, mutton.
Oh no.
It is. It's Vorderman. It is the mutton, it is the lamb. It is an outrageous picture. I would be saying the same thing of a guy dressed like an absolute plum, half their age.
It's a bit cruel, though, isn't it? I mean, Whitney dressed as Britney.
I don't understand the reference. Who's Whitney from EastEnders?
No, Houston.
It
worked better in the 90s when Britney was fit.
Well, hang on a minute. I'm confused as to which of those is coming off the worst in the Whitney-Britney debate. 03459 455 555. Who came off worst? Well, we know who came off worst in the long run. But in the short run...
Let's not say Britney again, because you know about the curse.
Oh, dearie me. Now, a new report has revealed... you know that Justin's taken Vorders to the street?
Oh, no.
Yeah? I told him to be sensitive.
Oh.
A new report has revealed that while the level of diversity in the country has increased, the level of segregation in schools remains the same. According to a think tank called the Demos Integration Hub, white kids tend to go to schools where they're in the majority, and so do non-white kids. Basically, it looks as if we're still more comfortable sticking to our own kind. Well, Bodril Amin is a secondary teacher from Luton and a member of the NUT and joins me now. Morning, Bodril. Does this surprise you?
Good morning. No, it's not a surprise. The report reflects what is going on in schools in certain parts of the country.
It's not a surprise. I kind of read this and went, yeah, and?
Yeah, because this has been an issue for a while.
But is it an issue? Is it an issue? We know that but people tend to live in segregated communities.
Well, the thing is, it's a lot of it's not the fault of the communities. Things have evolved over a number of years. So, this has been the situation on the ground going back 10, 15 years now.
So it's not a surprise. It's nothing we should be concerned about either, is it?
I think it's something that we definitely need to address because...
Why?
Well, we need to have some kind of mix in our school system. Otherwise, the issue that we'll face is that people will get stuck in their ways, and children at a very young age are open, and at that age they need to mix with other children from different faiths.
Why?
Diversity. Because we need to have a society whereby people have an understanding of, well, children especially have an understanding of other children's faith, diversity.
But you can't. There's no point in faking that, isn't it? The reason that white kids go to school with white kids is that generally, and this is I'm painting with a very broad brush. White people live in the same area as other white people. Asian people tend to live in the same areas as other Asian people. And it's not a criticism of anybody. It's just the way that things have kind of worked out. We tend to assimilate and associate with people who look and sound and think a bit like us. So there's no way around it, is there? Apart from making kids go miles and miles to different schools. And why would you want to do that?
Yeah, it's tricky finding a solution.
Well, you only need a solution, Bodder, if you consider it a problem.
Yeah, I think from my own experience, I went to school predominantly where children were the same ethnicity as my ethnicity, and that was throughout primary and secondary school. The only time where I mixed with students from another different ethnicity was in sixth form college.
And
So-
you're not a massive racist, are you? You understand how Christian kids and Jewish kids and, white kids work. It's not affected you negatively, has it?
It hasn't, but I think it's not really healthy for this to kind of continue, because although maybe in my situation, it's worked out fine, in other situations, probably not the same. And I think the world that we're living in now, it's really important that young children, get to mix with others, so that you avoid some of the situations now that's happening.
My kids, my youngest doesn't go to school. My eldest kid is in a school, and I'm just thinking, they're all white. They're all white. There is not one face of a colour in that school, certainly not in his year, okay? Because we live in a very white neighbourhood, and he's not, he asks questions about why some people look different, and we explain. He's, if the explanations are made and you don't in any way say, oh, don't go and talk to that person, they eat different food and they pray to a different God. As long as you don't... Kids are bright. Kids just know that other kids are other kids.
Yeah, at the same time, it's important that, in the world that we live in, that they have, exposure to children from different cultures, ethnicity, because, otherwise what will happen is, they won't have a great understanding of students from different ethnic background.
Do you really think that?
Yeah, I think because it's very difficult because things have changed quite a lot, especially with regards to there's a lot of different stereotypes.
I went to a school in Slough. Here we go. I could talk to you all morning, Bodwell. This is fascinating, but I've got to go in a minute. I went to a school in Slough. The school I went to now, I think, is predominantly Pakistani kids. At the time, it was probably half, I'll use clunky language here, half white kids with an English heritage, half Pakistani, and a few kind of other kind of people put in there as well. I would suggest there was more racism and racial violence in that school just because they look different to me and I look different to them, and kids pick on differences. There was certainly very little friendly integration and playing going on there. Once we got to about 12, 13, 14, it was bundles.
Yeah, well, that was probably unfortunate. The school that you attended, but
it was a grammar school. It was posh.
Yeah, but we need to have some kind of mix, especially in the school, especially at school age, because otherwise it's quite dangerous to have sort of students just going through a very segregated school system.
All right, Bodrel, I've got to end it there. Thank you very much, Bodrel Amin, secondary teacher from Luton, a member of NUT. I don't know if it is. I don't know if it is that dangerous. Surely it would be ideal, but I don't think you can't fake that. You can come in, Simon. Don't worry about disturbing us.
In some states of America start busing kids in.
Well, I mean, that's just crazy. People, white people live with white people just because that's what we've tended to do. Brown people Indian people tend to live in areas where there are Indian people, and Pakistani people tend to live with Pakistan, and Bangladeshis tend to live, and Jamaicans. We are, as human, I can't think what the word is, but we end up with people who look, sound and think like us.
3 words. Costa del Sol. We do it too.
Thank you very much indeed.
Travel news for beds, cards and bugs.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
Starting to get busy now on the M1 heading south from Luton down towards junction 9, so 10 to 9 looking slow down towards the Redbourne exit on the M1. M25 anti-clockwise, that's building up from the M1 down towards 16 in patches, already very heavy. Good news for the M40, it's open south of junction 9. It was closed earlier as overnight resurfacing had overrun, but looks like it's all open now. Looking at the cameras, cars are coming through, and on the trains, well, generally good service. Possible disruption for East Midlands trains, or because of a derailment up at Moorthorpe in West Yorkshire. James Worley, BBC Three Counties Radio.
Across beds, hearts and bugs.
This is BBC Three Counties Radio.
It's 6:30, I'm Simon Oxley. Lewis Hamilton admits he was close to tears as he won his third British Grand Prix at Silverstone yesterday. The Hertfordshire driver extended his World Championship lead to 17 points, ahead of Mercedes teammate Nico Rosberg, who was second.
I was gunning the whole way, and I really just wanted to do it for you guys, so I'm so thankful for all the support, and I couldn't have done it without you guys. I could see you every lap, I could see you in the corner of my eye, and I just felt you spurring me along, so thank you so much.
In football, Watford are being strongly linked with Tottenham duo Etienne Capoue and Benjamin Stambouli. Meanwhile, the Hornets have sold England under-21 goalkeeper Jonathan Bond to Reading for an undisclosed fee. Luton have signed winger Danny Green following his release by Milton Keynes Dons. Green, who played for Hatters boss John Still at Dagenham, becomes Luton's 9th summer signing. And the USA have won the Women's World Cup, beating Japan 5-2 in the final. Andy Murray is back in action at Wimbledon with the last 16 tie this afternoon against the big serving Ivo Karlovic. Murray is second on centre court following the match between Serena and Venus Williams.
You need to be very patient against him. You aren't going to get chances in every game. You maybe only get one or two in a set if you're lucky, so you need to be ready when they come, and hopefully I can take those chances.
Milton Keynes Olympic long jump champion Greg Rutherford won the British Championships in Birmingham yesterday, despite a performance he described as dreadful. And the American Beth Allen won the Ladies European Masters at the Buckinghamshire Golf Club at Denham. BBC Three Counties News and Sport. The next full bulletin is at 7.
Hey, well, you say news and sport, Simon. I demand a 50% refund. There was no news there. It was all
budget
sports.
cuts, you see, having to pay for all these licenses for the over 75s. We've got to cut things out.
Let's just hope Tony Hall wasn't listening,
Absolutely.
Simon. Otherwise, you are going to be the first for the chop. Unbelievable.
This is Iain Lee
on BBC Three Counties Radio.
I went to have it.
Oh no!
10 pence this record cost me. 10 pence.
Gosh.
I went
Overcharged.
to. Sorry? Making love in the afternoon.
Not like this.
Gonna go and get myself a spoon. Gonna make love to you today. So I went to a record shop in Birmingham. I went to the bargain bin. This is great. Do you know what this song is called? Whipped Cream.
Oh no.
And I went to the shop and I went to the bargain bin. 10 pence an album, 15 albums. It's about what? I don't know, 120 or something like that. And they are all as good as this. This is The World of Tijuana by the Mexicans. Whipped Cream. The next song is called Up Cherry Street.
There's one further down that's interesting.
Which one's that?
Coming in the back door.
Oh, it's like they all sound like theme tunes to 1970s sitcoms starring Robin Asquith.
Yeah, things that aren't really don't really fly these days.
Yes. Oh, look at the knockers on R!
I reached for the newspaper and one of those lovely catalogues fell out. There's some really great inventions. I can't believe haven't been taken on by the NHS.
I don't know who's delivering our newspapers, but thanks for delivering some of yesterday's and not all of today's. Much appreciatos. Somewhere
in a white van there is a man reading a Daily Mail that is ours.
3459 455 555 if you want to give us a call. We haven't got all the papers. If you've got a paper from any time, any place, anywhere, give us a call and read us a bit, please. Go on, what have you got?
You know skin tags?
No.
Well, they're like kind of moles that are skin coloured.
I've got no idea.
You can get rid of them. Look, there's a picture handily.
What is that? What am I looking at?
Looks like a wart, but it's not.
I've never seen that on a person before at all.
Well, people get them. But apparently you don't need to go to your medical professional anymore. There's something in the Daily Express magazine that can get rid of it for you.
Is that... And I'm going to say something, and I'm not being flippant. I'm being genuinely serious. Is that a cancer?
I don't think so.
That on my arm. I'm being serious. I know I'm laughing now, but that is bigger and darker than it was before. Now, I know that you've had your medical licence revoked, and we can't go into the specific details, but that man is still in therapy.
Just keep an eye on it. If it gets any bigger, go and have a look at it.
It's got bigger, and it's got...
How do you know? Draw a ring round it.
Well, then
permanent.
Supposing my arm gets bigger.
Well, it might.
Some things do. Some things get bigger, willy-nilly.
And then quite a lot smaller.
So, as far as you're concerned, that's not anything
yeah, but I would seek a second
about.
opinion from an actual doctor.
Okay. Kelly, are you a doctor? Oh, hang on a second. Let me... I forgot we've got a new toy. Kelly, are you a doctor?
I can be.
Well, yeah, after about 8 years of intense medical training.
Well, she can't spell...
It's great to have you back, by the way.
Let's go with the fantasy.
Thank you very much indeed.
Let's go with the fantasy.
So, page 3 of the Daily Mirror is... I haven't got it. Justin's got it. He's taken Carol Vorderman to the streets, where, judging by what she's wearing, it looks like... That's where she belongs.
Oh, now, come on.
She looks awful.
She's having a go in the dressing-up box, and it's not really been particularly successful.
She's got the eyes. You know, sometimes some women are really hot, right? But they're nuts. I'm thinking of Sharon Stone, not in
Basic Instinct.
Not in Basic Instinct.
She was supposed to be being nuts in that,
but actually in real life.
Oh.
She's one of the bonkers women, isn't she?
Have you experienced actual Stone?
No. But you get the impression from looking at her, again, in Basic Instinct, but also in real life, that she is bonk. Like, properly... You'd go out on a date, right? You'd ask her out, and she'd go, yeah, that'd be great. Or you could go out for, like, a coffee or something, and you'd be going to your mates, I'm going out with Sharon Stone. Oh, nice one, player. And then, like, 5 minutes into the coffee, she'd be asking you to marry her.
Yeah.
And you think, flipping it.
And she's already made the appointment.
Exactly. So, Vorderman strikes me as a stone bomb. Ooh. That's what she strikes me as. Bunny boiler.
The word that springs to mind for me, and again, I may be doing her a disservice, and this goes against all my feminist principles.
Please do.
Frantic.
Slow down, you've been too... Oh, hang on.
What's this good time being had?
This is the swinger from Seville.
Oh, I think I might know them.
I'll tell you what, speaking of swingers, that links... I'm like Wally Webb here, who's got another week off. I wonder what's going on there. Sex Fest Pests.
Oh.
Villagers' minds blown as swinger jamboree rolls in. And this is the music they're playing as all the cars park up. There's a young lad who's waving the cars in. Over here! And this is the music that plays.
Did you ever see that documentary where they were wearing masks in the woods?
Masks in the woods? No, I didn't.
Flipping heck.
I just don't...
There's a reason why they do it in the dark. That's
the festival season may be in... Listen, this is the noise. Look, this is an actual recording from this village. This is what's going on there now. Festival season may be in full swing, but one village was outraged to find the one on its doorstep was rather more swinging than most. With its teepees... We went to an American Indian themed birthday party yesterday.
Oh.
And
is that okay now?
I don't know.
I think those guys were having an amazing time back then.
Anyway, with its teepees, portaloos, and a double-decker bus bar...
Oh, I've been on one of them, they're fun.
Swingfields 2015 looked every inch... Oh, a mini Glastonbury. But... who wrote this? This is a great... Izzy Ferris. I don't know, is he? But wellies were not the only rubber attire in evidence. And their headline acts were sexual rather than musical. Organisers boasted 3 is the magic number and put a limit on the number of single men allowed to attend to ensure everybody has a great weekend. And I think we can go live now to that festival to hear what's going on. Yep, they're still at it, guys. It's just coming to an end now. One more time, guys. See you next year, Dave. Bye, Sue. Oh, fun times. Like most festival goers, the 500 revellers wore wristbands. Oh, come on. This is a joke. This is written by a 15-year-old schoolboy, right? Like most festival goers, the 500 revellers wore wristbands to access all areas. Come on.
Blimey.
Each colour indicating a sexual preference. Tickets for the sellout bash were £165, and its location in the small village of Flaxley in Gloucestershire was only revealed 48 hours before it started. When one neighbour said, It was quite a shock when we went down there on Thursday night to ask them to keep the music down. We saw a banner with the words 3 is the magic number and a variety of interesting images. We knew this wasn't your usual music festival. Gosh, well, there we go. It sounds like... I wonder... Oh, there's a joke here.
Here we go.
Hang on, guys.
Does it happen annually?
Oh, no. When your hand went up, I knew.
That was good. I'm working on something to do with headliners.
No.
There's something... I'm going to turn her microphone off. She's scaring me. Look. She's biting her own finger. That means we're all in trouble. Hey, guys! Do you know what the mood must have been at that place? It must have been happy!
Travel news for beds, cards and bugs.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
Usual Monday morning build-up on the M1, southbound slow from Luton down to Redbourne, 10 to 9. A1M's looking heavy now on the sensors, passing Stevenage, and also delays on the A1 into London through Boreham Wood towards Stirling Corner. Also very busy approaching Mill Hill Circus. Anti-clockwise M25's heavy in patches from 21 all the way down to 16 already. M40 looking fine though, and as for trains, no significant problems across the three counties this morning. James Worley, BBC Three Counties Radio.
Thank you, James. 6:46. It's Monday, the 6th of July. What are sixes? I said then.
Loads.
3. The sign of the beast. Ah!
Stop it.
These are your headlines on BBC Three Counties Radio. Family doctors have raised renewed concerns about the level of support available for people with dementia and their carers. Eurozone leaders are to hold an emergency summit tomorrow after the Greek people rejected an international bailout. And Lewis Hamilton has dedicated his... I don't care about him, he's an idiot. Let's get the weather. Here's Georgina.
Beds, Herts and Bucks weather.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
Hello there. Well, we've got a fair amount of sunny spells around this morning. It's always going to be more cloudy, though, from western parts. So the further west you are, the more cloud around, particularly as we head into the afternoon. That's medium-level cloud. There may even be a little bit of rain spilling in as well, kind of drizzly outbreaks of rain. But for many, it will stay dry with highs of 22 degrees Celsius. Now, tonight, largely dry and clear, just the odd shower here and there for some of us, and lows of 13 degrees. And a cooler morning tomorrow. A line of showers pushes northeastwards, and some of those are going to be pretty heavy, particularly in the morning, but a cloudy start, breaking up in the afternoon to give us some sunshine and quite a pleasant end to the day with highs of 23 degrees Celsius. More cloudy on Wednesday with some outbreaks of rain, a possibility. We've got a northerly wind flow on Wednesday, and we haven't seen that for quite a while, so starting to cool down. So Wednesday, Thursday looking cooler, drier though on Thursday with more hope of sunshine as high pressure starts to build from the southwest, and then a fairly decent day on Friday. Those temperatures creep up once more. That's your latest forecast.
Blackbird singing in the dead of night. Take these broken wings and learn to fly. All your life, you were only waiting for this moment to arise. Blackbird singing in the dead of night. Take these sunken eyes and learn to see. All your life, you were only waiting for this moment to be free. Blackbird fly, blackbird fly into the light of the dark black night. Singing in the dead of night. Take these broken wings and learn to fly. All your life, you were only waiting for this moment to arise. You were only waiting for this moment to arise. You were only waiting for this moment to arise.
Yeah, I love that. I'll have that for $1, Dealey.
Beautiful song.
Beautiful song. Beautiful harmonies. Beautiful guys. The Crosby, the Stills, and indeed the Graham Nash, formerly of the Hollies. Ladies and gentlemen, would you please welcome live on stage at Woodstock, Crosby, Stills, Nash and Young. You all right, Dealey?
Yes, feeling the vibe this morning. The sun's out. It's a lovely morning. Yes, things are good.
You are looking absolutely gorgeous today.
Thank you,
This
I appreciate the comps.
This song is called Coming in the Back Door. Thought we'd play it for you, Justin. Now,
thank you very much.
You're very, very welcome. Here we go.
It's furtive, isn't it?
Because he's sneaking in. Who's coming in the back door now? I left my key for the back door there, and now somebody is sneaking in the back door there. Leave my back door alone. Here we go. Those are the lyrics, of course, guys, to Coming in the Back Door. Now, Dealey.
Yeah.
No, you will never hear a man defend Carol Vorderman more than me. She is one fine mama, one hot potato, one sexy sweet corn. But today, she has, I believe, the lexicon that young people used, she has swam with the fishes.
She's jumped the shark.
That's the one. She looks absolutely flipping ridiculous. She's dressed, let's be honest, like a prostitute.
Yes.
I would say Barbie.
Yeah, okay, like a Barbie. I would do this if this went Lewis Hamilton dressed like an idiot. I took him down a peg or two as well. So it's not sexist. It's not sexist.
No, it's real.
Who's that coming in my back door? I said, stay away from my back door. Use the front door just like everyone else.
And wipe your feet before you walk back through me carpets.
Go back round to the front garden and then you can come in through the front door. I said, leave my back door, that's a personal door. So, Dealey.
It's funny enough, when you said to me, come round my house for a nice barbecue, you did say to me, use the back door.
I did, well, you...
So what's going on?
You, sir, are allowed to use the back door. Of course, you're a back door man. Now, you've taken Carol Vorderman to the streets.
I have. It's on page 3 of the Daily Mirror today.
Yes.
She's wearing what I would describe as a very, very short denim dress.
Yeah.
She's got the bleached blonde hair, the glasses, and the most horrendous wedges you've ever seen.
Yeah.
This is a 54-year-old woman.
Come on, don't be rude about that. I don't think she's had any surgery on those wedges.
But she's looking a bit of a state. So I've taken this one to the streets. A, could people identify her?
Oh, yeah,
but also B, their thoughts on Vorderman and whether it's time for her to call it a day. Here's what the streets had to say. Who do you think that is, boss?
I don't know.
Come on, take a wild guess.
Couldn't tell you.
That's Carol Vorderman.
What?
That's Carol Vorderman.
I can't believe that. Are you sure?
That is Carol Vorderman, madam. Let's get the lady's perspective. What do you think about that look?
Don't like the hair. Colour of the hair.
What about the dress?
A bit youngish, really, for her.
Is it time that Carol Vorderman called it a day?
I think so. Definitely.
Is that Carol Vorderman?
It is.
Jesus. Okay.
Let's get the Hungarian perspective. So, what do you think about that lady there on the left-hand side?
Well, she's beautiful, even of her age.
Okay, she's 54 years old. So that look will go down well in Hungary.
Similar. Yeah, similar.
It's a lovely Hungarian perspective. Thank you.
You're welcome.
People not so keen.
No,
Justin,
no.
on the borders.
I mean, the European vibe is there. You obviously got the Hungarian perspective. He's saying if he was walking the streets in Hungary and Carol Vorderman was there, yes, he would like that. But most people this morning, English people, no, not for them at all. They are disgusted. It's making their stomach churn.
What she's doing is she's competing with the new Carol Vorderman on Countdown, whose name is Judy Beckinsale.
Rachel Riley.
That's the fella.
But she's not,
she's
though, 'cause
she's the big lass from You've Been Framed.
No, that's Lisa Riley.
Oh, do you know? Do you know how Lisa Riley met her man?
Go on.
Greg's.
Come on, now you've just had a go at me and Dealey for pushing it.
Oh,
you
dear.
pushed that. No, this is true, right? I think
what about Greg's?
No, this is how she met her husband, right? She went on the internet,
right,
and guess who she pretended to be on the internet? a Lisa Riley lookalike. That's a true story. She pretended to be a Lisa Riley lookalike on the internet to
For men who can't quite handle the real thing.
Yeah.
Actual Riley.
Yeah.
Gosh.
What a
I should try that.
Anyway, what were we talking? Rachel Reeves.
Rachel Riley.
Yep.
But she's not like that. I mean, there is a look, isn't there, a Playboy bunny look that a lot of girls are going for these days. But I'd say girls between the age of unfortunately quite young, but about sort of 16 and 24. But once you get beyond that, you've got to start growing up, haven't you? And make it a little bit more classy.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like what I am.
Justin, we'll speak to you later on, brother.
With pleasure.
Peace
Take
be
care.
with you. Peace be with
Peace.
you.
Peace.
Peace indeed. Speaking of peace.
Oh gosh.
I'm trying to rein it in. I'm trying to rein it in, Bets.
Are you?
Yes.
It's sounding interesting.
Sorry?
Careful with that microphone.
I've been fuming. I've been doing a lot of driving on the A4M4.
Okay, tell me about that.
Recently. It's where the road goes from. It's from London, out of London, west. I'm going west. I'm go west. Do 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 do. I go west. Do 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 do. Go west. Go west. I'm going west. Go west. Go west. Yeah, but anyway, on this go west journey, as I'm making a pilgrimage, all right, I have to drive past posters advertising Sky Television.
Oh yeah.
And Discovery Channel.
Yeah.
Oh, there's a poster advertising a television programme.
Right.
It's a man holding a helmet.
Oh.
And it says, no limits. Do you know the two words before no limits?
No.
No.
No,
There are
no,
two
no.
words. They're names. They're two names before it says no limits.
Oh.
2-1.
Richard Hammond.
No. Television has just swum with the fishes. Jump the shark.
Right.
I'll give you a clue. I flippin' hate him.
Titchmarsh.
No, worse than Titchmarsh.
Oh.
What does it begin with?
Idris Elba.
Oh, I love Idris Elba. He's so versatile.
Who's that?
Idris, he's my nemesis.
Idris Elba. What?
What?
What's his name?
Peach Melba.
Idris Valor. Idris Elba, no limits.
Oh, he's lovely.
Whether you're into adrenaline-fueled sport or just want to stare longingly at the beautiful Idris Elba,
Yep.
there really is something for everyone in this series. Not for me. What I'll be doing is I'll be sitting there throwing knives at the television.
Here's what you need to do.
Yeah?
Sit there and watch it.
Hey,
And you'll
fair play.
realise he's just a guy doing a job just like you.
First line of the programme, I'm addicted to speed. Oh, blimey, that could be
Crikey.
quite a... Oh, he means driving and stuff. I want to see if I've got what it takes to fulfil a boyhood dream and compete in one of the planet's toughest rallies, the Circuit of Ireland.
Right.
That's not a tough rally. The Circuit of Ireland.
So instead of being Idris Elba No Limits, it should be Idris Elba Does Stuff.
Idris Elba does stuff around Ireland. I mean, what the hell?
Travel news for beds, cards, and bugs.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
Southbound M1 slow moving between 11, in fact 12 now, Toddington and 9 Redbourne on the sensors. Southbound A1M usual delays past Stevenage. Anti-clockwise M25 Monday morning heavy traffic in patches from 21 down to 16. That's down to the M40. And as for trains, looking good. No reported problems for services across the three counties. James Worley, BBC Three Counties Radio.
Thank you, James. OK, guys, we're coming out of the rabbit hole. No mention of Vorderman again, but there will be more bits and pieces. 03459 455 555. Let's get the, well, fingers crossed, the news with Simon.
Local and vocal across beds, hearts and bucks.
This is BBC Three Counties Radio.
It's 7 o'clock. The headlines. Doctors raise concern over dementia care. Greeks reject international bailout. And Lewis Hamilton wins at Silverstone.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
Family doctors have raised renewed concerns about the level of support available for people with dementia and their carers. The Royal College of GPs was responding to an online survey for the Alzheimer's Society. More from Adam Brimelow.
In a UK poll of more than 1,000 GPs, half said the NHS wasn't doing enough for people with dementia, and 2/3 said social services were falling short. Over a quarter of GPs said they'd be less likely to refer people with suspected dementia if support services weren't in place. In a statement, the Department of Health said the Prime Minister had set a challenge for all NHS and social care staff to be trained to provide meaningful care and support for people with dementia, their carers and their families.
The Greek people have voted to reject the terms of an international bailout, with more than 60% rejecting further austerity. The Greek Prime Minister said the no vote was not a vote against Europe, but a mandate for him to negotiate a viable solution to Greece's debt crisis. Eurozone leaders are to hold an emergency summit tomorrow to decide how to respond. Richard Ashworth is the Conservative Party leader in the European Parliament.
You just can't vote away a debt that you've got. We would have to come to the European taxpayers and say, give us some more money so we can put into a black hole of people who are determined not to change their ways. That's not acceptable.
A relative of the family of 12 from Luton who are understood to have travelled to Syria to join the so-called Islamic State group has urged them to return home. Abdul Latif, whose brother and son are among the group, said his family had a great life in the UK. Speaking to the BBC from his home in Bangladesh, Mr Latif said he believed the family had been radicalised by one of the younger women.
I suspect my nieces, especially the youngest one who's called Razia, they were a bit radical. They were excessive with their niqab. I've heard that a year ago my niece Razia was questioned by British police there. Razia might have arranged the whole thing.
A 46-year-old man has been arrested on suspicion of attempted murder of a police officer after an incident at a block of flats in High Wycombe in the early hours of Saturday morning. One of the officers who went to the address in Olympic Way was attacked with a chisel. He suffered only minor injuries. A review of phone scams shows that 80% of victims are over 55. The Financial Ombudsman Service is urging people to highlight the risks to older relatives. In sport, Lewis Hamilton admits he was close to tears as he won his third British Grand Prix at Silverstone yesterday. The Stevenage driver now 17 points clear at the top of the World Championship.
140,000 people salute Lewis Hamilton as he comes across the line. Williams could have won the race, but it was Hamilton who did win the race, and King Lewis reigns at Silverstone.
I'm so happy with that. Thank you to all the fans that come in. That one was for you. Thank you.
The weather dry and sunny, but a bit cloudier this afternoon. A maximum temperature 22 degrees Celsius. And you can get the latest news and sport online at bbc.co.uk/3counties.
I'm really sorry, Simon. I may have disturbed your bulletin. We'll get there eventually. It's still at, week 3.
It's a work in progress.
I opened my laptop because I kind of set up the laptop while you're doing that, and suddenly the movie I was watching last night, Birdman, a little bit pretentious, burst into full volume. So apologies for that. Apologies for running out, and apologies for the rude stuff I wrote about you on the internet over the weekend. That was out of order, but I've been drinking very, very heavily. 03459 455 555. Yep, that'll do.
Across beds, hearts and bucks.
This is BBC Three Counties Radio.
Oh, dearie me. 03459 455 555. I realise. Yes, I'm moaning. I'm not moaning. Just letting you know, the audio on the news is all over the place. Some of it is badly over-devating. I don't know what that means. Well, trust us, we know what we're doing. It just may not come across like that. Iain, normally I listen after 7. Well, you're missing the best bit of the show. Best bit of the show, the rabbit hole. But my 3-year-old decided 5:30 was the time to get up today. So I'm listening to the first hour. Do you always sing this much in the first hour? I feel like I've been missing out. Well, Julie and Leighton Buzzard, sometimes you're lucky and sometimes you get a little bit of extra sing-song. My boy is really getting on my nerves, my youngest. The last few weeks, he's been having night terrors, that's just like a really bad nightmare where you're sort of awake but you're asleep.
Kind of graphic, and you act out, don't you?
Oh, it's yeah, and it's 2:30.
Is there lots of flailing?
Oh, flailing and shouting, and I've tried, and I must admit, I snapped this morning. My wife was with him, but 2:30 when Daddy's getting up at 10 to 4 is not good. And I did the calm talking down, and then I did have a little bit of a. Will you stop it? Which surprisingly had no positive effect whatsoever.
How old is he?
17. No, 3.5, isn't it? 3.5. And it was just... And it's that thing of thinking, I've got to be up in an hour and 20 minutes. And so I woke up at 2:30. I got back to sleep at 20 to 4 to be woken up at 4 o'clock. So I'm... but I'm not on... But I'm going to get my own back, I think. When he goes to sleep tonight, I'm just going to start screaming and shouting and keep him at his wit's end. I think that'll do it. Any texts before I...
We just read them.
Oh, is that it?
Completely stole my thunder, innit?
Oh, nothing else?
Well, Snuffers. Did you read Snuffers one, or can I have that one?
You can have that one. Go on.
Okay, just think of Idris. If Idris was to crash, there might be a Bonaparte on Elba again. I'll get my coat. Oh.
What?
Napoleonic joke, though. Napoleon
Bonaparte. It was Napoleon.
See?
I wondered... I heard a completely different gag
Yeah.
there. Blimey. 03459 455 555 is the telephone number if you want to give us a call. Now, the NHS is leaving too much dementia care to parents' families. That's according to the Alzheimer's Society, and they're being backed by GPs who say people with the disease are being failed by a system which doesn't meet their needs. Phil Pedder from Milton Keynes cares for his mum, Marie Hurst, since she was diagnosed with Alzheimer's. Phil joins me now. Morning, Phil.
Morning, folks. How are we?
Tell us about Mum. How old is she, and when did she first get diagnosed with Alzheimer's?
She was first diagnosed a couple of years ago. She's 74 now. She was diagnosed after... There's a long sort of history up to it. I'd moved back in after split up with my ex-wife, and I was noticing random things happening. And she started missing appointments. And then from that, it was just weird things going on in the house. It'd be random things, like she'd forget to make a cup of tea, or she'd start making a cup of tea and then forget what she was doing. She went into a hospital to have a operation, have a hysterectomy, and then the night after the operation, apparently she was up moving around as if she forgot. And the loving nurses at the NHS, they said, their experience said it could be Alzheimer's.
Oh, blimey.
On the back of that, we got her tested for the memory assessment in Milton Keynes, and they confirmed it, and they said, it is Alzheimer's. So it was kind of relief once it was confirmed, because you sort of doubt yourself.
Yeah.
So she was diagnosed with Alzheimer's just over 2 years ago now.
How's she doing now? Because it's one of those conditions, it's completely unpredictable. For some, it can be quite a slow descent, and some it can be very quick, can't it?
Yeah, I mean, with Alzheimer's in general, it's like a hill. It drops straight down. She sped up last year. It progressed really quickly early last year. She's levelled off again. She's got, I'd say, no more than 5 minutes now memory before it's that repetitive conversation. You can literally have a conversation with her now, walk out of the room, and then walk back in and start again. But it's Alzheimer's, and it's my mum. I love her, and it's beneath it all. It's still my mum. So.
Oh, exactly. It's the disease is horrible, and the disease is frustrating. But it's your mum, and she's there. When did you first experience difficulty with social services in helping you look after her?
More or less from day one. Unfortunately, it was always been an uphill struggle. They were under the impression, because I lived there, I could look after my mum as well. At the time, I was working on a full-time job, so I had to change my hours. But we never really had any... The only help we had from them was a daycare, but they classed as respite for myself, which was twice a week. I had to get all the panic alarms put in myself. I was always saying to them about, what about the gas oven when I go to work? And I was just basically given leaflets and told to phone people myself, But there was no support for me personally. I had no support. I'd literally have to phone the social worker and raise concerns. I put safeguard reports in, everything over the years, but you feel like you're on your own. It's not a nice sort of situation to be in. It was sort of put on your shoulders. But it was very, very sporadic if I had any help whatsoever from them.
The survey that we're looking at today highlights a lack of cooperation between the NHS and social services. They're two different bodies, and they don't really speak to each other, and they don't kind of help you. Is that what you found?
Spot on. I would sit here now, and I cannot praise the NHS enough for what they've done. From the operation Mum had in regards to services the NHS provided. They were amazing. The social side of it, unfortunately, it is appalling. Maybe they've got too much paperwork and there's too many policies they have to do. But when you have to physically phone a social worker up and try to get them to come out, they're quite happy to leave people to get on and run things themselves. It's disgraceful now. It's just carnage.
I suppose the thing is, and listen, my mum's got MS, and although it's a different disease, she's got some of the similar kind of some of the mental deterioration that one gets with Alzheimer's. And I've had to deal with social services. I've made the phone calls. I've chased the people. I've sent emails. Have you had that thing where you send an email and you don't get a reply to it, and then you finally get hold of the person? They say, "Oh yeah, I'm only in the office 2 days a week."
Yeah, right. The classic one I had was, I'd say, early last year, also when I was living with my mum. I come home from work and there was a gentleman in the house, and my mum was about to buy £25,000 worth of solar panels for the roof. Right, so I asked him to leave nicely, if that makes sense.
Yes.
And I'd phoned the social worker and emailed her, and their reply was, "I'll sort it when I come back. I'm off on holiday for 2 weeks."
Yeah, yeah.
Like walking in, smelling gas coming from your gas oven.
Phil.
You sort of think, hold on a second. But they were very blasé, and I'd asked for another social worker because I'm hoping there was more than one in Milton Keynes. You get fobbed off. You have to really scream to get your voice heard.
It does feel like, doesn't it, the person who shouts the loudest gets heard, which doesn't seem fair. I would imagine that all across the country, that these social workers, that they're swamped. They must be swamped, because we know that dementia and Alzheimer's and other conditions like that are on the increase. So, I mean, I'm not trying to in any way take away from the frustration you felt, but have you got any sympathy for them?
Yeah, it's not the person, the social worker who comes out, the lady I deal with. She's a lovely lady, but you can see the strain and stress they're under, and you sort of think, well, it's a hard job. Social work in general is a hard job, but you start to lose, I wouldn't say respect, but you just get annoyed with the system. They're like, oh, we can't do that because I've got to speak to so and so, and then speak to so and so. But on the NHS, the other side of it, okay, the policies are all in place. If you can put the care and the compassion that nurses provide for the NHS into the social working system, but they just don't want to communicate. It's just horrible.
Phil, I wish you the best of luck. Your mum's very lucky to have you, and I hope that everything goes as smooth as it can for Mum. Thanks for your time.
Thank you. Thanks for giving me the time to speak to you. Thank you.
Thank you, Phil. Phil Pedder, looking after his mum, Marie Hurst. It's a tough one, isn't it? 03459 455 555.
Local and vocal across beds, hearts and bucks.
This is Iain Lee.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
Now, this would annoy the hell out of me. Right, so a woman's getting married, right? It happens. It happens. I don't know why you're looking like that for, Kelly. It happens. Women get married to men. Up until recently, 50% of all people involved in marriages were women. Now, since they've changed the law, it can be any older. Probably about 12%. No, that lot. Well, this woman's getting married, and she would annoy me a lot if I were to propose to this woman. Firstly, because she keep talking about my wife and the fact that it was bigamy and illegal. Very bigamy.
That's annoying, isn't it?
You can't marry... Bigamy, yeah, it is. Who else is going to marry you? That's quite a nice joke, isn't it?
Great joke.
Matt, but it doesn't quite work because it involves the person... involves the other... Involves... If I was to marry Catherine and she would say, well, that's bigamy...
That'd be me being big.
You have to say it.
I've got to big me up.
You have to say, well, it is bigamy.
No, but it'd be bigamy.
Let's do it. No. So you say, Catherine...
Oops.
But, all right, so will you marry me?
Yeah, but it's bigamy.
No. You say, but you're married already.
But you're married already.
Yeah, I know, it's bigamy. That's the kind of guy I am. We got there! We did a joke!
Yeah,
we did a joke!
So kind of weird.
Kelly, will you marry me?
Yeah, but it's bigamy.
No.
What? Okay, start again.
Right, Kelly, will you marry me?
But you're already married.
I'm going to divorce her.
Oh, okay.
That took a twist, didn't it?
Yeah.
No, hang on. Catherine.
Yeah.
Would you marry me?
Never.
What? Kelly.
Yes.
Would you marry me?
But you've got a wife.
Is bigamy?
It is big. Hmm?
Kelly, don't marry him. He's a right plum.
Fair play. I did just ask Catherine to marry me, and she
Right in front of
rejected you, and I went straight to you. So I don't know what that says. You said yes. I don't know what that says about you.
I'm always sloppy seconds.
Oh.
Bigamy.
Travel news for beds, cards, and bugs.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
Southbound M40, slow moving from 5 to 4, usual build-up down towards High Wycombe on the cameras. The M1's busy south of Milton Keynes towards Bedford, and then heavy traffic south of Toddington services on and off all the way down to Junction 9 Redbourne. Usual Monday morning M25 delays, so anti-clockwise 21 to 16 towards the M40. The A1M passing Stevenage is slow on the sensors. Busy into London as well, approaching Stirling Corner in Boreham Wood. And as for the A10, that's looking okay, although starting to slow up now, passing Cheshunt down towards the M25. A40 into London, by the way, very busy from just east of Northolt, in fact passing RF Northolt all the way down towards the North Circular. James Hawley, BBC Three Counties Radio.
James?
Yes, Ian.
Well, right, okay, because this can happen now. Will you marry me?
If you want me to.
No. You say, what does he say, Catherine?
I've got a wife.
Sorry?
You've got a wife. You've got a wife.
Okay, here we go. James?
Yes, Ian.
Will you marry me?
But you've got a wife.
I know, it's bigamy, but that's the kind of guy I am! Who's giggling like a girl? Is that you, James, or is that Kelly?
No, that's tumbleweed.
Okay, that's disappointing. That's disappointing. That's a shame. Fair play, wouldn't have got anywhere with Sammy there. She don't fancy me. It's 7:17 on Monday the 6th of July. I'm Iain Lee. These are your headlines on BBC Three Counties Radio. Family doctors have raised renewed concerns about the level of support available for people with dementia and their carers. Eurozone leaders are to hold an emergency summit tomorrow after the Greek people rejected an international bailout. And Lewis Hamilton has dedicated his third British Grand Prix victory to the 140,000 fans at Silverstone.
What?
Yeah, I know. Incredible, innit?
If you've missed any of the programmes here on BBC Three Counties Radio, you've missed things like this.
Put it this way, I used to drink at least 8 or 9 litres of cider a day.
Well, as I mentioned earlier, it's no secret that I enjoy a glass or two of Pinot Grigio.
There's more information on the tin of beans, its contents, than there is on the bottle of wine.
But there is a way you can hear it all again.
I'm the worst kind of person in terms of someone that may have problems in the future, because I'm what I would consider a middle-class drinker.
bbc.co.uk/Three Counties Radio.
Sorry, this is probably not a good conversation to be having with a former alcoholic.
Allowing you to listen to what you missed.
These things got to be spoke about, haven't they? So, I mean,
Yes.
I've no intention of going back to it. I've got too much to lose now.
bbc.co.uk/Three Counties Radio.
I've done a little garden.
Oh, it made me laugh.
What does he mean?
The feedback for Dave, for whom this is.
Who the hell is Ginger Baker?
There's a picture of him on the Facebook page, facebook.com/BBC3CR. Like you care. Well, it's gone nuts. He's gone viral. Viral.
He's a virus.
He's had more views than people stealing from cars, and some really boring thing on there about someone driving something. I don't even know. He's had more views than professional video. He's had more views than Morris at the movies, the Horseman, Warren at the Peter at the Pictures. What's that fella called? Wilson Pickett.
Wilson Pickett.
Wilson Pickett and Flickett. Wilson Pickett, Roll It and Flick It. They were great, weren't they? But when I saw them in the 70s, there wasn't even an original member in there. They were all just different people.
Wasn't even Wilson.
Well, there's no Pickett.
Was it the Flying Pickets?
Roll It was in it, but I mean, he's, but Flick It was nowhere to be seen.
Anyway, Dave is very popular.
Dave is more popular than Marshall at the movies, who's talking about a cowboy film, so he's wearing a cowboy hat.
And bothering a horse.
He's bothering a horse. In fact, if you watch it all the way to the end, I think I'm the only person that has. You can, just as he finishes talking about the film, you hear someone off camera going, "Oi, get away from my horse!" And you see him...
From your horse.
My horse! And you see him scamper away. Unbelievable.
I like the ResureQuest post.
I saw the ResureQuest post as well. The ResureQuest post. It's so much better than
Chat.
Yeah. 03459 455 555. Lots of phone calls this morning. We will get to them eventually. But before that, a new report suggests that while the country has never been more diverse, we still prefer to send our kids to school with their own kind. According to a think tank called the Demos Integration Hub, white kids tend to go to schools where they're in the majority, and so do non-white kids. Well, Rafiq Raja is the chairman of the Muslim Parents Association in High Wycombe and governor of Highworth Combined School and Nursery. Morning, Rafiq. What are your thoughts on this?
Good morning. I'm actually also an elected member of Wycombe District Council and leader of the Labour group on the council.
Oh.
So the question you pose, yes, it sounds on the face of it that people prefer to go to groups where they seem familiarity. But quite frankly, I think perhaps we're missing the point. The basic point is that majority of black and minority ethnic people live in urban kind of areas, and therefore when they send their children, they're likely to go to a school which has a majority ethnic minority content. But there are other reasons. That actually just shows that it is basically due to socio-economic factors. Unfortunately, it is also true that because the black minority ethnic children don't do too well in education, they later on don't get the jobs other people get, and therefore they do get concentrated in certain areas.
Well, no, isn't it just that white people live with white people, and black people live with black people, and Pakistani people live in the same communities as Pakistani people, and Indian, and so on and so forth? We tend as human beings to congregate with people who look and sound like us, don't we?
Well, I think there is something to that as well, and I must admit, people from, say, the Asian community do like to live next to somebody who can speak their language, can understand their culture.
Of course they do, and that's only natural, isn't it?
Yes, and there's nothing wrong with that. But I think I was actually going to give you some other factors which might be important in understanding this headline statistic, and that is obviously the catchment areas. The schools are only bound to kind of recruit children from their own catchment areas. And if you're an academy, that's a different thing. But majority of the schools, well, not majority, but I think some of them are still under local authority control, and therefore that is one factor. And as I've said, majority of the black and minority ethnic people actually live in urban town centres. And yes, I think there's the other factor which we've noticed in High Wycombe over decades is what I term and what other people term as white flight. That is, certain schools, for example, there was a school in High Wycombe called Brentwood. It became Wycombe West, and then it started to acquire a reputation to have Asian children in it, and therefore every year the local white population would send less and less of their children into that school, and therefore the concentration of Asian children kind of increased in that
school. The Asian community was sending more and more Asian children to the school.
No, I think that's not actually true.
How do you know?
I tell you what, that is possibly true in the sense that because, as I mentioned, the socio-economic factors mean that the majority of the children from ethnic minorities don't have access to, say, pushy parents who can go and, say, look for a better school.
You're joking. Asian kids don't have pushy parents? That's a joke, isn't it, Rafiq?
No, it's not.
Wow. Are you Asian?
I tell you what. There may be some very good Asian parents.
Hang on a second. No, Rafiq. I've got to stop you, sir, with all of your list of the... That's complete and utter guff. I went to school in Slough where the Asian kids were under so much pressure from their parents to succeed, to become doctors, to become lawyers. I know a girl that killed herself because of the amount of pressure that she was under from her parents.
Well, I'm afraid you are actually generalising to a point where...
Well, hang on a minute, sir. What are you doing? You're generalising about white flight.
I'm trying to give you some factors, and that's the important thing here. The facts are...
Well, no, there's a difference between factors and facts, sir. And if I'm generalising, sir, you're painting with a very, very broad brush.
Well, okay, touche. What I'm actually trying to tell you is that in High Wycombe, only 7% of the Pakistani children passed the 11 plus last year. Okay, we've got selection in Buckinghamshire. Not a single black child passed the grammar school, went on to grammar school.
Is that racist?
No, it's not racism. I'm actually giving you the reason. I'm just giving you the facts at the moment.
The 11 plus exam is based on the 11 plus exam is based, if I remember correctly, on verbal reasoning, isn't it? It's not a knowledge or an intelligence test. It's a verbal reasoning. So there is a suggestion that perhaps if Pakistani children aren't passing a verbal reasoning exam, that could be there could be other factors at play.
Yes, of course, and this is what I'm hoping that you can actually lead on to. Now, when you said that you had some very pushy parents and very bright children, Asian children in your schools, that's right. There are actually children who go to grammar schools and do well, go on to university. But when you look at the GCSE results, and I'm just talking about GCSEs in Buckinghamshire, when you look at that, the basic criteria is 5 GCSE passes or yardstick at grades A star to C, including maths and English. Now, the mainstream community in Buckinghamshire, the pass rate of attaining that yardstick is 68 to 69% last year. The Pakistani origin children are only attaining about 40-45% of them are actually gaining that pass mark.
How many of the white children are gaining that pass mark?
Well, I've said mainstream. Mainstream is about...
I don't know what mainstream means.
Well, mainstream means anybody who's not actually, say, not ethnic minority.
So white?
Well,
what?
If you want to use that, yes. But
are they white or not?
Well, there are some white working class kids who are not performing too well.
Are you talking
either.
specifically about Pakistanis versus everybody else, or Pakistanis versus white children?
That's the statistics I'm giving you.
But I don't understand, sir. I don't understand the statistics. Either I'm being dumb or you're not explaining it well enough. So Pakistani children are getting 48% pass.
No, between 40 and 45%.
Right, and who are the other children who are getting the 69%?
Well, I think you're actually perhaps trying to not understand.
No, sir. I'm trying to understand. Who are the 69%? Are they white? Are they Indian? Are they black? What are they?
Actually, the Indian children in Buckinghamshire, they're not in the same numbers as, say, the Pakistani children. But
who are the 69%, sir?
They're better than the mainstream children.
Who are the mainstream children? You keep using this phrase, and I've got no idea what it means. Who are the mainstream children?
Well, they are the ordinary children who are not, say, ethnic minority.
So do you mean white?
Yes, okay.
So the ordinary white children?
Not ordinary.
You just said ordinary.
Well, there is a distinction used, and that is the white working class children. They are on par with, say, the Pakistani children, but there is a very strong contingent of white children who do very well. And that is why there's a gap in Buckinghamshire, which was recognised by the government about 2 years ago. And that is why Buckinghamshire is trying to close the gap. And actually, it is the attainment gap. The government has recognised it, the local authority has recognised it. And I'm actually trying to, I'm not quite understand why you think I'm being unfair in using that terminology.
Because I've never heard the terminology, and I'm asking you to clarify it.
Well, I hope I've done that, but I can do it again for you.
No, eventually we got there.
Yes, well, I'm
it's
glad
funny.
We managed to get there.
Yeah.
But I'm not trying to kind of paint a picture which is unreal. What I'm trying to say is there is a gap. And the gap,
would that gap be reduced if white kids went to school with Pakistani and brown and all different, if all kids kind of mixed together?
Well, they do actually. In Buckinghamshire, I mean, majority of schools are mixed schools. There are only one or two in in High Wycombe, for example, where the majority.
Yeah, it's heavily one way or another, isn't it, Rafiq? That's what this survey. Yes, that's what.
Yes. Well, yes, but I mean, there's a school called Cressex. It's an upper school, secondary school in High Wycombe, where 65% of the population is of Pakistani origin, and the black and minority ethnic content is up to 85%.
Right, that's... Five 455 555. Let's get the travel.
Travel news for beds, cards and bugs.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
Nothing really out of the ordinary at the moment on the roads, no accidents or incidents. Usual congestion on the A1 at Black Cat roundabout heading south. Delays on the southbound A1M passing Stevenage. And the M1's very heavy in patches from Tollington services down to Junction 9 Redbourne on the sensors. Anti-clockwise M25, usual delays 21 down to 16. That's the M1 all the way down to the M40. And the M40 slow Stokenchurch down towards High Wycombe. James Worley, BBC Three Counties Radio.
Across beds, hearts and bugs.
This is BBC Three Counties Radio.
With the headlines, I'm Simon Oxley. Family doctors have raised renewed concerns about the level of support available for people with dementia and their carers. The Royal College of GPs was responding to an online survey for the Alzheimer's Society. The Greek people have voted to reject the terms of an international bailout, with more than 60% rejecting further austerity. Eurozone leaders are to hold an emergency summit tomorrow to decide how to respond. And a relative of the family of 12 from Luton, who were understood to have travelled to Syria, has urged them to return home. Speaking to the BBC from his home in Bangladesh, Abdul Latif, whose brother and son are among the group, said his family had a great life in the UK.
Three Counties Sports.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
Lewis Hamilton admits he was close to tears as he won his third British Grand Prix at Silverstone yesterday. The Hertfordshire driver extended his World Championship lead to 17 points ahead of Mercedes teammate Nico Rosberg, who was second. Hamilton has also joined Nigel Mansell and Jim Clark in winning at Silverstone 3 times.
Fans have been incredible this whole weekend. It was just electric out there. I could see them even more than 2008. I could see them in the corner of my eye as I'm coming through turn 7, waiting for the car to turn. I could see them in the corner of my eye, and then through the last corner, and I knew that they're with me the whole race. But to be up there with Nigel and really the greats, I feel very, very honoured.
In football, Watford are being strongly linked with Tottenham duo Etienne Capoue and Benjamin Stambouli. Meanwhile, the Hornets have sold England under-21 goalkeeper Jonathan Bond to Reading for an undisclosed fee. Luton have signed winger Danny Green following his release by Milton Keynes Dons. Green, who played for Hatters boss John Still at Dagenham, becomes Luton's 9th summer signing. And the USA have won the Women's World Cup, beating Japan 5-2 in the final. Andy Murray is back in action at Wimbledon, with the last 16 tied this afternoon against the big serving Ivo Karlovic. Murray is second on centre court following the match between Serena and Venus Williams.
You need to be very patient against him. You aren't going to get chances in every game. You maybe only get 1 or 2 in a set if you're lucky, so you need to be ready when they come, and hopefully I can take those chances.
Milton Keynes Olympic long jump champion Greg Rutherford won the British Championships in Birmingham yesterday, despite a performance he described as dreadful. And the American Beth Allen won the Ladies European Masters at the Buckinghamshire Golf Club at Denham. BBC Three Counties News and Sport, the next full bulletin at 8.
Across beds, hearts and bucks.
This is Iain Lee.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
Morning, guys. Iain Lee, BBC Three Counties Radio. Oh, man alive. I tell you what, I know what we can send Dealey out on. I've got it. I've got the Dealey factor. I'm still furious about Idris Elba getting a series.
Let it go.
No. Can't let it go.
Let Idris go.
Is he the one on the advert that's like, look at me, look down, I'm on a horse?
Probably. I bet he's seen a horse. I bet he has seen a horse.
Real life?
Yeah.
Up close?
I bet he's even touched a horse.
No, I have.
Like that. No. But, let's send Dealey out on Idris Elba.
Right. Is he on too much?
Am I right in thinking that we should ban him?
Or do we broaden it out so it's not just about Idris? Because you seem to have a bit of a thing about him.
Yeah.
Who's on too much? Tell you who's on too much, and I love her. Emma Willis.
Oh, I saw her doing an advert the other day. I thought, you're swimming with the fishes now.
She's doing too much.
She started swimming with the fishes. I just think, nah, doing too much with Emma Willis.
Ben Shepherd.
Yay!
He's everywhere.
You're right. I've got a great idea for what Dealey can do on the phone in 03459 455 555.
You've got a good idea.
Who's on too much?
Oh, that's excellent.
You like that one?
Excellent.
Idris Elba's on a little bit too much. So is Emma Willis. And starring Ben Shepherd as the man next door. They're on too much. Davina was on too much for a while, but she's reined it in.
Well, has she reined it in, or is she just not on enough for herself anymore?
I love Davina.
Yeah.
Oh,
she was at the time, wasn't she?
If Davina came in here now, I would pull down the blinds, I would lock the door, and I would have to turn the microphone off and play this loud. She's one hot potato. But then if Kelly Brooks knocked on the door, I'd have to send Davina out.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Unless she wanted to stick around and watch.
And that's not sexist.
Nothing wrong with being sexy. Some of us just are. Who else is on? 03459 455 555. Who? I don't really watch TV anymore. That's the thing. So I can't tell you who's on too much. Well, I mean, Childs was on too much, but then TV saw sense and 5 Live didn't. I don't know.
The One Show's on too much.
Oh, those guys. I bet Idris Elba ends up presenting The One Show. I bet.
Yeah.
I bet. Oh, that's good. I don't know. I don't watch telly, so I can't answer that one.
Who's on too much?
Who's on too much? Dealey, take it to the streets.
Thumb up there.
What, have you got any texts or anything?
Holly Willoughby, she's on TV too much, says Lisa Hunter on the on the tweetles. She just tweeted me and I saw it straight away.
Pip Schofield's on too much.
How that works.
I know, isn't it magic?
Guys, hello. My show.
Schofield's not on as much as he was.
Pip Schofield's on too much. They should get rid of everything he does, apart from, and this is the greatest television programme of all time, The Cube.
I've never watched it.
Oh, we used to play The Cube at home.
How? You got a cube?
No, but suppose we'd mark out a square, and then we'd have to step inside the square and set each other challenges. So one would be, you've got 60 seconds to pick up 50 Satsumas.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's a lot of Satsumas.
Tesco's. They sell
That sounds like there's some prep required for that.
Or we had to throw a ball into another person's mouth.
A football?
No, just like a cricket ball.
Were you in the demarked territory?
Yeah, otherwise there's no point. Otherwise it's just the room. I love The Cube. The Cube is one of the greatest television programmes of all time. I don't do those celebrity things apart from Mastermind, Ready, Steady, Cook.
And Let's Dance for Comic Relief.
Let's Dance for Comic Relief. And Weakest Link.
Catchphrase is one of my favourites.
Sorry?
Is that still on?
Catchphrase, yeah.
Yeah, it's hosted
with
by
that fella who's also on everything. On Too Much.
Who is he?
He's on Too Much.
What's his name?
I don't know, he's like a magician.
Oh,
puppet.
Mulhern. Flipping Mulhern.
Oh no, Mulhern's not on. Mulhern's a good lad.
No.
He's funny. He's
no,
funny.
Too much.
When?
When
is he funny?
When he's not on camera, he's one of the nicest blokes in the world. He's lovely. He's a very naughty boy.
Is he?
Yeah, Stephen Mulhern, naughty boy, selling rude jokes. It's Stephen Mulhern. Stephen Mulhern. Ooh, now he's feeling the burn.
Do you know what I want to know about Stephen Mulhern?
Go on, mate.
If he's such a magician, how come he's not a multi-millionaire?
Well, he is.
If he can make £20 notes.
He just keeps it secret. Oh, who said this? Iain is on Radio Too Much, get him off. Iain is on Radio Too Much, get him off.
That's Shirley, who's on our text too much. Stop listening.
Claire Balding, yeah, too right. But there's a balding backlash. People are rebelling against the bald. No, hang on. There is a balding backlash going on.
Balding's wearing thin. Hey.
That's good.
Here's some text about our last interview. Should we do that?
Yeah, go on, why not?
OK, Marcia in Bedford says he talks of Pakistanis, but ask him about the Indian and African children who overachieve. Can you overachieve, or are you just achieving?
OK, yep. I'll just run out of steam for a bit. Just carry on.
Let me pump you up a bit. Liam says... Oh.
She's gonna pump me up.
Right, here's what Liam in Bletchley has to say.
Morning, Liam.
I couldn't make much sense out of what your earlier interviewee talking about schools where pupils of the same ethnicity or culture attend the same schools.
Was it me being dumb in that? Sometimes I realise I am dumb and I don't know things, but I didn't understand. I didn't really understand what on earth that guy was talking about.
Well, Liam wonders if it's necessary to conduct an analysis of this. After all, birds of a feather, etc. I don't know why we're bringing those women into this.
Dorian, you old, horrible, haggard old tart. Put it away, Dorian. You're 78 years old. Don't want to see that.
Again.
Oh, dear.
And Tony says, how big is Dave Luton?
Not big at all. Question. Tiny. If only we had... I didn't do the story that I was going to do. About because we got so if only had all the papers, guys, but it doesn't matter because I've got this paper, the Daily Mirror, Britain's greatest newspaper after the Star. So if you remember earlier on, we were having some classic bants, and the punchline was, well, that's the kind of guy I am. The bigamy thing. Yeah, we go. Okay.
Always a hilarious route of comedy.
There was.
Should we do it again for anyone who missed it?
They should have been listening.
Okay, fair enough.
This is the story I was referring to. Childminder Karen Alt asked... Right, well, she's a carer, right? So already I don't like her. She was renewing her vows. Already people that renew their vows. Have that. I mean, for goodness sakes. We're so much in love. We're going to do it. We've been for a very tough time, but we're so committed and we're going to get back together. He had an affair, but I'm going to renew my vows. Yeah, because that'll work.
Fresh start party, that'll do it.
So she asked kids that she had cared for to be bridesmaids and page boys. The question for you two is, how many bridesmaids and page boys did Karen Alt have?
Oh, too many.
71.
Incorrect answer.
Thanks.
Boyley, we're playing bridesmaid bingo.
12.
Incorrect answer.
Higher or lower?
Higher.
Higher or lower than 71?
That's the question, isn't it?
Yeah, that's what I'm asking.
Exactly.
52.
Incorrect answer.
Higher or lower?
25.
Higher.
31.
Okay.
What? Yes?
No, that's wrong.
No, right.
Catherine.
Higher or lower?
Literally, guys, you're right. It's literally, I'm just getting people to say numbers on the radio as filler. Yeah.
No.
Well, yeah.
Which one?
You didn't say a number.
111.
Ridiculous.
Oh.
Get in the sea, as they say on Twitter.
Childminder Karen Alt asked 111 kids she's cared for to be bridesmaids and page boys at the renewal of vows in Castle Donington Eastmans. We don't know how many. One said yes.
Did they just turn up in their own stuff, in their own clothes, or did she have to
Page.
Being a bride is showing off, okay?
Yeah.
I think we all agree that. But 100 bridesmaids, super showing off. She doesn't deserve to be married by anyone.
She doesn't deserve to be happy. She deserves misery. And I hope that Dave cheats on her again.
Each to their own.
And also, you know what bridesmaids are really for? Helping you go to the loo. They're not going to fit in that cubicle.
Bridesmaids are for the best man and his friends.
Mates, yeah.
Buddy, squaw. Buddy.
I'm a bridesmaid soon.
Boy!
Yay, next year.
And this will be the music that'll be in every gentleman's head as you're walking down the aisle. They won't be looking at the bride. They'll go, oh, the bride looks, oh my God. This is it. So you're walking down the aisle, right? And go, oh, the bride looks flipping egg.
Oh, gosh.
Gee, you're going to be a bet.
I am.
Today's show is sponsored by 1972. I apologise.
Fun!
Travel news for beds, cards and bugs.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
We're just getting reports of an accident on the northbound M1 near to junction 9, the Redbourne and Whipsnade turn. We understand that the outside lane is blocked by a car and a van. Can't see it on camera, but certainly can see the queues building up on the cameras and sensors. This is the northbound M1 towards junction 9. Southbound is particularly busy this morning, south of Milton Keynes towards Flitwick, and then very heavy south of Toddington services on and off all the way down to junction 9. The M25 anti-clockwise is slow from 21 to 16. The M1 round to the M40, of course. A1M slow passing Stevenage at the moment, and also delays on the A414 at the Park Street roundabouts in the London Coney area. Delays into London on the A1 down to Stirling Corner and Mill Hill Circus, and the A10 at Enfield's very heavy southbound at Southbury Road. Trains, they're fine with no reported delays. James Wally, BBC Three Counties Radio.
Thank you, James. Weather coming up, but before that, these are your news headlines at 7:46 on BBC Three Counties Radio. Tick your diaries now. Family doctors have raised renewed concerns about the level of support available for people with dementia and their carers. Eurozone leaders are to hold an emergency summit tomorrow after the Greek people rejected an international bailout. And Lewis Hamilton has dedicated his third British Grand Prix victory to the... No, he hasn't done this, though. All he said was, I want to just give this to all the people out there. But it doesn't mean anything. Why don't you give them a load of money or something, you humourless plum?
Beds, Hearts and Bucks weather.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
Hello there. Well, a decent start to the day for many of us, although for more western parts, a bit more in the way of cloud. That's medium level cloud, and that builds for everybody as we head into the afternoon. Now, the further west you are, the more chance there is of just the odd outbreak of rain spilling in, with temperatures reaching 22 degrees Celsius. Tonight should be largely dry and clear. We can't rule out the odd shower here and there, though, with lows of 13 degrees, and a cooler start to tomorrow. We've got a line of showers pushing northeastwards, and some of those are going to be pretty heavy in the morning in particular, so cloudy to start off the day, but breaking up in the afternoon to give some sunny spells, and quite a decent end to the day, although there may be a few showers kicking off due to the heat later on. Highs of 23 degrees Celsius. Wednesday's looking more cloudy. We've got some outbreaks of rain as a possibility, but a northerly wind flow is going to bring some cooler air in. We haven't seen that for a little while, and Thursday's looking cooler but drier with more hope of sunshine as high pressure builds from the southwest, and then a much warmer day, again quite dry on Friday. That's your latest forecast.
Every weekday morning.
They're not getting shown what being British is.
The intention was to try and make the world a safer place.
No, it wasn't. It was to do with oil. Don't be naive, Jonathan, please.
The JVS Show.
I'm not comfortable with it. And if they feel they're being pilloried, well, they're putting themselves as the odd person.
It's such a violation of a child's sense of safety in the world.
And I hate to use that old cliche, Jane, but it hasn't done us any harm, has it?
The JVS Show.
No, I haven't made my point. I'll tell you when I've made my point.
Every weekday morning on BBC Three Counties Radio.
Well played. Well played, those guys. Well played, those guys. 03459. I'm all out of breath from clapping, flipping. Heck, I'm unfit. 03459 455 555. You can text 81333. Start your text 3CR. Now, a statement has been released claiming a family of 12 from Luton who went missing after a trip to Bangladesh are in Syria and have joined so-called Islamic State. The BBC's not been able to verify if the statement, which is said to be from the Manan family itself, is genuine, but in it, it's claimed they feel safer than ever having joined IS. The BBC also understands that two sisters from another family in Luton have been prevented by counter-terror police from going to Bangladesh between March and April. Dr Nazia Khanum is chair of the Luton Women's Network Against Violence and Extremism. Morning, Doctor.
Good morning.
I've been pondering this family over the weekend, and I can't work out why I should be bothered by them.
Well, it's a big story. I think everybody should take notice of what is happening. And
why should we be in? Why this family have decided to go? Why does it concern me or my listeners?
It concerns me because although, I mean, if you look at the actual number of people who are going to Syria from this country, maybe a fraction of the Muslim community, because Muslim people who are living in this country is 1.7 million or something like that. And these numbers are very small still, but it concerns me because a woman apparently in this family, if she was radicalized in Birmingham, and she actually tricked quite a lot of them into believing that they should go to Bangladesh, to Istanbul, and from there to Syria. And how did she do it alone?
Well, here's the thing. Here's the thing I don't get.
Is so strong that they believe that it's a good place to go to.
Nazia,
concerns me.
Here's the thing, right? Here's the thing. You don't know any of that. I don't know any of that. Nobody knows anything.
Yes,
we're all guessing. We don't know if the family were tricked or if they went willingly. We don't know anything about it, do we?
No, we don't. We don't. Even friends don't know. Though those who are close to this family for many years, apparently they didn't know.
Apparently, yeah. So it's all guesswork and conjecture, isn't it?
Obviously, you and I can speculate a lot, and I am right into it because I want these to be prevented. So obviously, for many years, I am trying, and I think we should raise awareness. And if we can prevent some of these families, they won't come and declare that we have been prevented. But I believe that prevention is important, nevertheless.
Why is it important?
It is important because if you think of British citizens just being gullible into going to Syria, thinking that this is a better place to live in than in this country, and I think that we have every sort of responsibility to try to prevent them from going. But
I don't understand why. The thing is, lots of people are saying, oh, they've been tricked. Oh, they're gullible. We don't know that. We don't know if the people who decided to go looked at all the evidence, they weighed it up, and they thought, well, that lifestyle better fits what we want. The thing that's annoying me about this story is everybody's guessing and everybody is coming to their own conclusions. We ain't got a clue.
We haven't got a clue. But on the other hand, we know, at least people like me know and believe that that's not a good place to go to.
In your opinion, in their opinion, it was a good place to go to. In their opinion, it's a good place to bring up kids.
We have the responsibility to give the counter sort of picture of what ISIS is about, or IS, or so-called IS is about.
They know what ISIS is about. It's about chopping people's heads off and chucking gays off buildings. They know that, and yet they still decided to go.
The position is what brand of Islam they actually believe in. And they're not theologians. All these people who are gullible, they're not theologians. They don't know what Islam is about. But are we doing enough to put forward the true picture of Islam to anyone?
Yeah, I think so, because
weaknesses and also lack of coordination of all the agencies, including statutory agencies, is important. The resources are so limited. I won't have to tell you about it. How scarce the resource is.
Oh, the resources are limited. I think why should we pour? And I'm not sure, Nazia, I appreciate you having this conversation with me, because I'm not quite sure what I think on this yet. I'm just kind of exploring ideas, so thank you. But why should we pour money into persuading people?
They are British citizens. And
but if they don't want to stay in this country and they want to go somewhere else, why should we pour money in persuading them to stay here?
Even children are being taken. And what sort of knowledge and critical thinking children have about where to go, where to live? It's the adults who are taking them, and they're going with them.
Yeah, well, so what do? We take the children off them and let them go?
Yeah, but the point is, it's a safeguarding issue as well. And how can we forget that we have a responsibility to safeguard and protect vulnerable children and vulnerable adults in this country? And they are British citizens. And don't forget, if they want to come back from Syria by facing a horrendous situation, then in law, we'll have to accept them to come back. Maybe they will be put in prison or whatever. But British citizens cannot be denied the right to re-enter the country. The law is that. And thinking about that and the safety of the rest of the country, I am concerned, and I think everybody should be.
But if they hate us so much and they hate what this country stands for, then isn't it in some ways safer that they're not in this country, that they do go over there?
I understand your argument, but that should be then properly debated, and honestly they should take a decision openly that I don't like this country, let me go. Fine. But if they want to come back, they're still British citizens. Don't forget that. In law, you cannot deny them that right to come back. And after coming back, what will be their position? Will they actually still continue to do what ISIS is doing here on this soil, or will they be really reformed? You have to think about that as well. And law is not very helpful in some sense, but I think in safeguarding that within that framework, we can at least prevent people from becoming radicalized. And radicalized is basically, it is a process. It is not in itself unlawful or criminal yet. But it may lead to terrorism on this soil, it may lead to terrorism elsewhere. And I think radicalization is a worldwide phenomenon now. It's not just in this country that is happening. And we have a duty internationally as well to prevent these things from happening. Don't we want our democratic values to be intact in this country and elsewhere?
Then if we were having dinner right now, I would put down my cutlery, Nazia, and I'd say in response to that, well, surely they have their democratic freedoms to go to Syria if they want.
They may have a democratic freedom, but they should not do anything against the fundamental values of this country, which we love so much, and that's why
they don't.
Here.
But they don't, do they? And that's the thing.
Law, individual liberty, mutual respect and tolerance of different faiths and beliefs. In what way ISIS is following any of this? Just tell me that. And why should we accept people just saying, okay, we are going to Syria to be jihadists or support jihadists, and we'll come back and sort you out here? Will we accept it? We won't. And we have to prevent these things from happening, particularly young children and those stupid, gullible adults who, without knowing which brand of Islam is true Islam, is just going there where chopping heads is absolutely normal, not just to non-Muslims, but Muslims.
Yeah.
How many Muslims are being killed there?
Nazia, finally, another thing.
Numbers.
Yeah, the Muslims, the more Muslims are being killed out there, the non-Muslims, of course.
Gullible people, do they know? Isn't it then our duty to raise awareness of these people?
They know. They know. They know. They just choose, to believe what they want to believe, I imagine.
I don't think they know.
You don't think they know that the IS are digging pits and getting people to jump in there and then they kill them? That's what they're doing. And, of course they know that.
Some people may know, but others who are not radicalized yet, who are being sucked into it, they don't. And we have a responsibility to raise awareness. Community engagement is vital. Believe me, it is vital. Because if we don't raise awareness of these families, then completely unwillingly, some people will be sucked into it. And once they are into it, it's very difficult to come back. I know that some people are facing quite a lot of probably harsh realities there because people are ill. These older people who have gone through this family,
Yeah. Why is it very quick? Because we're running out of time now. So why? I don't understand why everyone's saying that the older people were tricked into going. They've got hospitals in Syria. We have literally no idea whether they were tricked or the older people went, "Hey guys, we're moving to Syria." We don't know. We don't know, do we?
We don't know, but at least we have some idea about it, don't we?
No, do we? We don't know whether the old people went willingly or were tricked. We have literally no idea.
I think these people, these elderly, if they're ill, they're getting good medication here.
Yeah, but they've been promised good medication over there.
A war zone.
But they've been promised. They have hospitals in Syria. They've been promised medication over there. We have literally. We have literally no idea.
I have to make a judgment about this.
Yeah, exactly, and it's a judgment, and that's the thing, isn't it?
Ill people to go to this conflict zone, and I will say no, it's not safe.
Okay, listen, I've got to end it there, Nazia. Thank you, Dr. Nazia Khanim. It's an interesting kind of conversation. There are so many people filling in so many blanks. Everyone's going on the poor elderly people. We don't know that they didn't. It wasn't their idea.
Did you see the abuse that the one family friend who spoke out about them and was filling in blanks before that statement came from Syria?
Right.
The abuse he got over the weekend on Twitter.
No.
Telling him that he should be chucked out of the country and all this kind of. And people in the community saying that this is not the family that they know, and he was talking out of his.
Well, who was the fellow we spoke to the other day who didn't want to talk about it, but was then on the Victoria then on the Victoria Derbyshire show, saying, "Well, we don't know they've gone." Yeah, we did, and we do, and now they have, and I just don't know why it's. And I will get to the travel in a second. I realise I'm really late. I just find it a fascinating story, partly because I don't know why we should be so fascinated. I don't quite know why it's such a big story, and I don't really like, and Nazia was doing it there, all this guesswork and supposition and making up your own story. Oh, those poor... I think it was Jonathan last week was doing, should we feel sorry for the old people? Well, why? We don't know. We don't know if they were against it, if they wanted to. You can't trick a whole family into going to Syria.
I don't buy the daughter-in-law theory at all.
No, nor do I. Anyway, travel coming up.
Travel news for beds, cards and bugs.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
Northbound M1's partially blocked. We've had reports of an accident near to Junction 9, Redbourne. Nothing on camera, but certainly a queue from Junction 8, Hemel Hempstead. If you have any updates, do call us. As for the A1M, southbound at Stevenage, usual congestion there, and delays on the M25 anti-clockwise 24 to 23 towards the A1M, and also slow moving from 21 down to 16 for the M40. James Worley, BBC Three Counties Radio.
Thank you, James. Last hour of the show. You can have your say on that if you want. Can someone explain to me why that's such a big story? 03459 455 555.
Local and vocal across beds, hearts and bucks.
This is BBC Three Counties Radio.
It's 8 o'clock. I'm Simon Oxley. The headlines: doctors raise concern over dementia care, Greeks reject international bailout, and victory for Lewis Hamilton at Silverstone.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
Family doctors have raised renewed concerns about the level of support available for people with dementia and their carers. The Royal College of GPs was responding to an online survey for the Alzheimer's Society. Phil Pedder from Milton Keynes cares for his mum, but has found it difficult to get help from social services.
There's always been an uphill struggle. They were under the impression, because I lived there, I could look after my mum as well. At the time I was working on a full-time job, so I had to change my hours. But we never really had any. The only help we had from them was like a daycare, but they classed as like respite for myself, which was twice a week.
The Greek people have voted to reject the terms of an international bailout, with more than 60% rejecting further austerity. Eurozone leaders are to hold an emergency summit tomorrow to decide how to respond. The BBC's economics editor Robert Peston is in Athens.
Greek banks are just days away from running out of cash. That's days away from collapse. It would mean Greeks losing huge chunks of their saving. It would make it almost impossible for Greece to import vital medicines, vital raw materials for their companies. It would be an economic disaster.
A relative of the family of 12 from Luton, who are understood to have travelled to Syria to join the so-called Islamic State group, has urged them to return home. Speaking to the BBC from his home in Bangladesh, Abdul Latif, whose brother and son are among the group, rejected suggestions that the family would have a better life with Islamic State.
Islamic State claims our family members are better off in Syria. This is ridiculous. My family members had a great life in London. How could they have a better life in Syria? Isn't it funny? Even my housemaids in Bangladesh are having a better life compared to Syria.
St Albans District Council has ended its legal challenge against the controversial rail freight terminal on the old Radlett Aerodrome site in Park Street. Last week, the council was refused permission to appeal the High Court dismissal of its case against the Secretary of State, with the judge saying they had little chance of success. Council leader Julian Daly says given their legal advice, they won't be making any further appeals. A 46-year-old man has been arrested on suspicion of attempted murder of a police officer after an incident at a block of flats in High Wycombe in the early hours of Saturday morning. One of the officers who went to the address in Olympic Way was attacked with a chisel. He suffered only minor injuries. In sport, Lewis Hamilton admits he was close to tears as he won his third British Grand Prix at Silverstone yesterday. The Stevenage driver is now 17 points clear at the top of the World Championship.
I was really just trying to manage the pace and the gap, and then as I said, then it started to rain and that gap reduced a lot. I'm thinking, guys, I'm not going to lose this for you, and so I was spurring myself on as well.
The weather dry and sunny, a little cloudier this afternoon, a maximum temperature 22 degrees Celsius, and you can get the latest news and sport online at bbc.co.uk/Three Counties.
Thank you, Simon. That being woken up at 2:30 by a screaming child is really starting to kick in now. Oh, man. And I've got them all day. Hey, guys, you know I'm not here next week, yeah? You know I'm staying at home in bed for a week, yeah? And you know I'm not here on Wednesday, yeah? I'm not here this Wednesday, okay? Guys, you know that? Good. Well, you know it now. Doing a school trip. I'm going on a school trip on Wednesday, and then it's first night of the tour. I'm flipping it. 03459 455 555. You can text as well if you want, you know.
Across beds, hearts and bucks.
This is BBC Three Counties Radio.
John's texted. You seen John's text?
Yeah.
Do you want to read it?
No, but...
I will.
Go on.
I'm sick and tired of hearing about bloody Muslims. Have you nothing else to talk about, John? John. How often do you listen to this show? Yes, we had a couple of days last week where we talked about it, but very, very rarely on this show do we do the, in inverted commas, Muslim story. And that was one tiny hit. But you raise an interesting point. Surprisingly, why is that story about the family from Luton such a big story? I don't quite understand it. I don't understand why it's such a big story that's still dominating the headlines.
Because the tabloids love a traitor.
Yeah.
They've got 12 there. Although they're trying to pin it on one woman tricking everyone. I don't believe it.
I don't buy that narrative for 1 second. And again, what I'm about to say is guesswork and supposition, but you can't trick a whole family into... So how many... There were 3 kids. Mm-hmm. So that takes you down to 9 adults, okay? So there are 9 adults.
3 men or 4 men.
Right, you can't trick a whole family. You can't trick... Thank you, Kelly. You can't trick a whole family into going to Syria. You can't trick 8 other adults into going to Syria to join IS. Can you? Unless if you've been tricked into going to Syria, call me now. You can't.
Who arranges your family trips? Like the actual practicals?
Oh, my wife. Oh, flipping heck. Oh, blimey. I better check those tickets.
I don't get the envelope. I don't get to touch it. We get a big brown envelope. All the documents get put in there, and it's nothing to do with
Gosh,
me.
you're so... Well, do you holiday in the 1990s? We print it all off.
Yeah. It's all in the envelope.
We spend hours trying to reformat the ticket so we can print it properly and not use up all the ink.
What I'm saying is, all those printouts, all the passports, everything else... Nothing to do with me from the moment it's printed off.
Can someone... it feels to me slightly that story about the Luton family is one of those stories that's kind of... made up by the press. And by that, I mean, yes, it obviously happened, but it's the press keep breathing life into it. When really, okay, a family of 12 went to join IS. Okay. I suppose the difference, you know, it's a sexy story because there are kids and there are ill old people who must have been tricked. In the same way that the 3 schoolgirls was a sexy story because it was 3 schoolgirls. And, you know, a bloke going off on his own or 2 blokes going off, it's not really a sexy story anymore. We've kind of been there, done that. Thank you very much indeed.
You know, I told you about that backlash against the quote-unquote family friend.
Yeah.
Do you want to hear some of it?
Yeah, go on.
Atoll says, I've known this family all my life. They're caring and loving. I don't know what is the truth, but whatever it is, Mr. Ashok was on the street going on telly like he knew everything first. Get the facts, then speak. Yasmin says, well done, Ashok. You carry on making stupid statements about someone's daughter when you've got no concrete information or evidence, even if it isn't down to her. The community will start pointing fingers and will be blaming her. Oh, well, at least you got your 5 minutes of fame. Flipping idiot. And Samina says, failed MP and publicity stunt should be the headline. Without evidence, he's pointing fingers. How has he been labelled a community leader with just 3,000 votes?
There we go. 03459 455 555. You can text if you want. 81333. Start your text 3CR. I know I don't want to talk about that a bit more later. I guess the question I want to ask is why is it such a big story? It doesn't feel like a big story to me, but yet it keeps on popping up in the... Anyway, 03459 455 555 is the phone number. Now, a poll of family doctors reveals the NHS is doing too little to care for people with dementia who already have to rely too much on family for help. The Alzheimer's Society, which carried out the survey, has warned too many people with the disease are being failed by a system which doesn't meet their needs. Well, Tim McLaughlin is from the organisation and joins us now. Morning, Tim.
Good morning, Ian. Thank you for drawing attention to this.
Well, thank you. It's not a surprise, is it? I thought we knew this already.
Well, what we know from our Dementia 2015 Aiming Higher to Transform Lives survey of doctors is that over 3/4 of GPs think their patients with dementia rely on family as they don't get enough help from health and social care services. And it's not a surprise, and what we're calling on the government to do is to aim higher to provide more support, particularly at that crucial point of diagnosis.
So what is lacking, Tim, that families and patients need?
Well, what's really lacking is that when someone's diagnosed with dementia, it can be a confusing time. It can be, what do I do next? Where do I go for information? And the GPs have said more than 2/3 don't get enough provision from adult social services after a diagnosis. So we've got people living longer with a diagnosis. What does that mean in terms of the support that they need as the dementia progresses? What does it mean in terms of care planning? What does it mean in terms of, do you know what, I want to keep living my life because life doesn't end when dementia begins. And what we want to see is more dementia advisors. The Alzheimer's Society has dementia advisors around the counties, around the country, but we don't have enough to reach everybody.
So whose responsibility do you think it should be to provide that information? Is it social services or is it doctors and medical staff?
We think it's everybody's responsibility. We think everybody should be aware of dementia and how to support people with dementia. We have our Dementia Friends initiative. We're calling on all care homes and treatment centres to become dementia friendly. The main thing we want to do is make sure that people feel supported, and that means knowing where to go for help, but also that everywhere is as dementia friendly as can be. So we talked about dementia advisors. That's someone who knows how to signpost to what services are available. We have a new service on our website called Dementia Connect, and that actually you can put in your postcode and find out where are the local support services. But the problem is that the GPs are the gatekeepers to getting a diagnosis that then often happens in a specialist memory clinic, and it's at that point of the diagnosis in the hospital that the gaps start to show, and that's what the survey is showing today.
And what negative impact are these gaps having on families and people who have dementia?
Well, the most important thing is that when someone is diagnosed with dementia, it opens the door to treatments which can slow down the condition and the support to help people live their lives to the fullest. It acts as a catalyst for discussions about how to live with dementia, including powers of attorney, maintaining health, driving and advanced care planning, all of those things. So it opens the door to actually living well with dementia. Now, when we think about cancer and other treatments, people get diagnosed and then there's treatment directly available. And we're calling on the government, both local and national, even in these times of austerity, to make sure that at the point of diagnosis, it's not like a fractured mirror as it is at the moment. Someone living somewhere in London or any of the three counties or indeed around the country, when they look at the mirror, it's broken. That's the coverage of support post-diagnosis. We want to see a complete mirror, and we're calling on the government, both local and national, to enable that.
All right, Tim, listen, best of luck. Thanks very much for your time, Tim McLaughlin, from the Alzheimer's Society. 03459 455 555.
This is Iain Lee
on BBC Three Counties Radio.
Deary, deary me. 03459 455 555. I'm sounding weary because my 2:30 in the morning, my boy woke me up, night terrors. No, don't pull that face. He's been doing it quite a lot. And when you have to get up at 5 to 4, it is very, very tiring. Very tiring. And it's hit me now. It's just this second it's hit me. And we've only got one working newspaper today. The Daily Mirror.
But what a paper.
But what a paper. Here we go. It's a story about you, your lot. Your lot in the papers.
What lot?
Your lot.
Women?
The Northerners.
Oh, right, okay.
I'm from up north.
Oh.
Where?
From Manchester.
Via Belfast.
It's even grimmer up north. Economic divide is growing. The north-south divide has increased since the recession, with London far outperforming the struggling regions.
Yeah.
Research using the most recent figures available reveals today that the capital's economy... Manchester. The capital's economy grew 1.5 times as fast as the UK.
I'm going to come in there and punch your lights out.
Yeah, I know you are, mate, because it's reminding you of your first boyfriend.
No, actually I didn't.
What?
I've never gone out with a Mancunian.
You've never been out with a boy? Oh, that's a perfectly acceptable lifestyle choice. If it is indeed a choice, maybe it's DNA.
I prefer men.
We now have an imbalanced recovery that's 2 weeks outside of London.
Why is he doing this?
Basically, what it is the North is having a little bit of an old whinge again. As you often do. Ah, kid, I go to the foot of our stairs inside the pots.
You're very brave through that glass, aren't you?
Tough guy, very tough guy through the glass, yeah, you're right.
Travel news for beds, cards and bugs.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
Well, delays on the northbound M1 with an accident earlier at junction 9 Redbourne. Southbound is particularly slow in patches from just past Toddington Services down towards junction 9, and the M40, that's okay. M25 though, anti-clockwise, slow 21 round to 16 towards the M40, and very busy on the O&M, really slow actually this morning from just south of Letchworth all the way down to Stevenage, so particularly slow on the A1M. Delays also on the A1 at the Black Cat roundabout, slow into Bedford on the A6 from the north of Bedford, possibly because of the roadworks on Paula Radcliffe Way, the bypass works of course, and checking the trains, a good service at the moment across the three counties. James Worley, BBC Three Counties Radio.
Thank you, James. Right, where are we? 8:16. It's Monday, the 6th of July. I'm Iain Lee. These are your headlines on BBC Three Counties Radio. Family doctors have raised renewed concerns about the level of support available for people with dementia and their carers. Eurozone leaders are to hold an emergency summit tomorrow after the Greek people rejected an international bailout. And Lewis Hamilton has dedicated... that story really annoys me.
Sundays on BBC Three Counties Radio.
It's a one-on-one connection thing. It's about me, it's about you. That's what it's all about.
Edward Adu.
It's not going to be Top Gear. It's going to be 1,000 times better.
Every Sunday night from 8.
Eclectic black music. It's going to be funk, soul, hip-hop, reggae, even a bit of house as well. It's like a social club. It's the Edward Adu Social Club. We just hang out, peanuts, glass of water. That's what it's all about.
Edward Adu.
I wear weird trousers, I wear crazy glasses, and I love fried chicken.
Every Sunday night from 8 on BBC Three Counties Radio.
I was saying the other day I've never had fried chicken. And then I had some fried chicken, but it was in a wrap in Tesco's. I don't think that counts as... I mean, it's not the Colonel.
It's not the Colonel, no. I'm a big fried chicken fan, although I don't eat it.
Can you... Well, first of all, two things. First of all, how can you be a big fan of fried chicken? And secondly, what do you mean you don't eat it?
It's delicious, but I just don't want to clog up my little arteries. Clog up, or even clog up. My tiny little arteries.
I've seen a picture of your artery, and it is very, very cute.
Quite impressive.
What's on your show today, Artery Boy?
Well, this morning I don't want to talk about the family of 12 from Luton who may or may not have consciously gone to Syria to live with IS. What I do want to talk about is two local Muslims who spoke to BBC Three Counties Radio last night, Sanawar and Omar. They were in Bury Park. They spoke on the street to BBC presenter Yasmin Khan. And they say they do know this family, and they say that whether or not they've gone to live in Syria with IS, they don't think there's anything to worry about. When asked about the beheadings, they said, well, it's just a pain-free way of killing people under pure Islamic law. When asked about life in this country, they say it's impossible to live a very strict Islamic life in the UK, and if people want to go and be much, in their words, better Muslims, then they may want to travel to places like Syria. These men appear to be in their 20s.
Gosh.
So is it bravado, or should we be worried about how... I can play the audio at 9 o'clock, how blasé they are about chopping people's heads off. They just did not seem to be shocked by it whatsoever. So I'll play that into after 9. And I simply want your reaction. What is your reaction to what Sanawar and Omar have said? 03459 455 555.
Thank you very much, Tim.
This is Iain Lee
on BBC Three Counties Radio.
03459 455 555. We're asking who's on telly too much. We'll come to that in a bit. Daly's out on the streets. How much dollar would you pay to see Justin Daly hosting his own late night? Well,
Sorry,
that was rude.
Just made me sneeze.
Calm down.
That was rude.
Yeah.
How much dollar would you pay
To see Justin Daly late night.
a late night television show?
I'd pay big bucks.
Can we call it Daly for really?
Well, the show I'm pitching to ITV2 is called Gizaz. And basically, it's Dealey in a mock-up of his flat. It's not a real flat, a studio flat, but it's slightly bigger. You'll have a wall of legends.
Wall of legends.
And
a
his
crouching
CDs,
tiger.
His CDs in alphabetical order. And he'd be just be sat there, and each week he'd have geezers round. And it could be sporting geezers, musical geezers, or just geezers. Just round having a little bit of a chat.
You don't need any reasons for geezers.
A few beers, pizza arrives. Geezers. 10:30, ITV2. I'd watch that.
Yeah,
it's
I'd
like
watch that.
Yeah,
I
it's
would
like
watch
the
that.
antidote to loose women.
Yeah.
Yeah, have it.
Maybe, I'll tell you what we'll do. We've got people here who totally love rubbing cameras and online footage all over their nether regions. Let's film a pilot for geezers. We'll film a pilot for geezers, OK? We're going to do that?
Yeah.
Could you sound enthusiastic?
Yeah.
Are we going to film geezers?
Yes. I really am up for this.
Flip. Why are you sounding so sarcastic?
No, that's just
right.
my
She's
face,
not involved in it.
Why?
Are you up for it?
Yeah.
Right. You're not. Right.
I am up for it. This is just my voice.
This idea is not actually
Why
happening.
am I not involved?
Shush. Shush.
But I love
Shush.
This is Iain Lee
on BBC Three Counties Radio.
03459 455 555. Now, a new report has revealed that while the level of diversity in the country has increased, the level of segregation in schools remains the same. According to a think tank called the Demos Integration Hub, white kids tend to go to schools where they're in the majority, and so do non-white kids. Basically, people kind of, they stick around with people who look like them. Sahib Blair is the education spokesman of the Islamic Party of Britain and lives in Milton Keynes. Sahib, this isn't particularly worrying. This is just common sense, isn't it?
I suppose it is, Ian. And more than common sense, because it's not just about schools, it's about where people live to start with. I mean, if you live in a particular neighborhood, you can't just sell a house and go somewhere else because you want a more mixed environment for your children. But then again, you don't necessarily want to because, yes, birds of a feather flock together, isn't it?
And there's nothing wrong with that. But everyone does it. White people tend to live with white people, and Polish people tend to live with Polish people, and Pakistanis tend to live with Pakistan. But it's just human nature, isn't it?
I don't think there's anything wrong with it as such, if it isn't exclusive. Now, for adults, of course, you have a situation where people don't just stay within their neighborhood. They also go out in other areas and meet other people, and that's really not a problem. Of course, when it comes to children, and if they're really just constrained to be with their own kind, one could argue that a kind of colorful, rich canvas of experience for children is more beneficial than a monochrome world.
Yeah, I suppose it is. But as I was saying earlier on, just because of the nature of where I live, my boy goes to. I think his class is entirely white. But I'm not worried about him growing up to think any less of people of different backgrounds and different colours and different accents.
It's not just about what you think of them as a child, but if you have friends from different backgrounds, I suppose it makes for a richer experience.
Yeah.
Just like if children have the opportunity to go on holiday rather than just stay within 10 miles of where they were born all their life, it makes for a richer experience. So certainly that's a beneficial thing, but I don't think you can arrange that through policy. And also, of course, what you're going to do about it, parents don't have that choice, even if they wanted to. There is a catchment area. They have a hard enough time to get into a good school within their own catchment area. They can't opt out unless they go to a private school. And those private schools are probably segregated as well.
Well, yeah, I get. If it's part of it's down to socioeconomic factors, then there is a good chance. So I don't quite understand why this survey has been done. It feels to me nothing particularly surprising. So it doesn't concern you massively. Then,
not really. I mean, surveys are being done on all kinds of things because I suppose research students at university need something to do.
Well done. Yeah, you're absolutely right. Which is why we tend to ignore surveys on this show because that's a brilliant way of describing it.
I suppose they provide us with some interesting lens into things we haven't thought about. And give us some information, some insights, and sometimes you think, oh well, actually I didn't know that, and maybe we need to also do something about it. But not always. You have to just jump the gun just because somebody discovered that life continues.
Sahib, good to talk to you. Thank you. What a refreshing input into the show. Sahib Blair, education spokesman of the Islamic Party of Britain. 03459 455 555 is the phone number. That's a great line. Well, these research students need to do something. I suppose they do. But Liam in Bletchley, are we Northerners now being categorised as aliens or minorities here, Ian? Always. Is it Kelly who's from the Manchester area? Kelly, are you from the Manchester area?
No.
What?
No. You'd live with...
OK. I'm from West Central Scotland, says Lynn. I'm from West Central Scotland. We're here to provide a cross-section of our national diversity. Embrace it.
Wow.
Thank you very much indeed, yeah. 03459 455 555 is the telephone number. So, Errol Flynn. What was Errol Flynn famous for, Kelly?
Errol Flynn?
Don't Google it!
I'm not. I'm typing something completely different.
Don't Google it! Let me ask Catherine. Catherine, I know you're making a phone call. Oh, look, she's doing the... Actually, I'm making a serious phone call face. I'm not talking to one of the fun guys. Oh, OK. Oh, flipping heck. OK, so what was Errol Flynn famous for?
Do you mean Errol Leslie Thompson Flynn? Is that who you mean?
Catherine's miming it perfectly. What are you throwing out of the park?
I'm not, I'm just unravelling it.
Yeah, exactly. He was an actor.
Can I tell you something?
Yeah.
My mum used to have a massive cactus called Errol. Like massive. It died a few times and had to be brought back from the bin. It was a little bit bent, but it was the biggest cactus you've ever seen.
A perfect description of Errol Flynn. A little bit bent, but the biggest cactus you've ever seen. That's pretty much him summed up, I think. From if the rumours be believed of what went on his yacht. He had, famously, him and Roddy McDowall, the two of the biggest stars in Hollywood, although they were only about 5'7". So I think you know...
But a lot of Errols was made up in something else.
Yes. Anyway, his love... Are you making a phone call or are you with us?
I'm there. I'm
Good.
This
is my last story I've got in the papers, guys, so the last half hour is going to be fun.
No, it's cool.
Huh?
It's all taken care of.
Sorry? Mm-hmm. I didn't realise we'd hired the Grateful Dead to produce this show. It's cool, is it, man?
I'm handling it.
Is it cool, man?
I'm all over
pass the Dutchie on the left-hand side.
Do you know that's a pot of food?
No, it's not.
Yes, it is.
No, it's not.
It's a pot. It's not.
It's a pot of something. That's
No.
when Musical Youth were on Blue Peter, and they were asked. It may have been Sarah Green. So, what is a Dutchie that you're passing upon the left-hand side? They very quickly said, "Oh, it's a pot of food."
It actually is.
No, it's not.
That's why they say, "How does it feel when you've got no food?"
Well,
and
if
that's
they
why,
had no food,
that's
then
why
why are they
there's
passing an
children.
empty pot?
That's why there's children singing it.
Guys, it's you know what a
Google Dutchie pot.
You
know what a Dutch pot is.
No, I know what you think.
Yeah,
it is.
I know what a Dutchie is, mate. A Dutchie
You're
is.
thinking of Dutch. Have a little Google.
I can't because I'm a bit busy. I'm a bit busy doing the radio show. No, forget the pot.
Yeah, there you go. Look.
Forget the pot. Just type in Dutchie.
Dutchie pot.
It was a convenient excuse,
I
Kelly.
will type in Dutchie though.
Yeah. Type in Dutchie oven.
Dutch bites.
No.
See what that is. Come on, guys. Sorry, I'm busy doing a show.
I mean, they're actually singing a biddly biddly bong.
Do that again.
A biddly biddly bong.
Clip that. 5 love letters written by Hollywood legend and sex symbol Errol Flynn. They only fetched £1,000.
Gosh, and I bet they're filth.
I bet they're if he's drawn around it. The letters. It's a lot of paper. The letters were sent to Marjorie Bickham.
Marjorie.
Who Flynn met while performing at the 1934 Malvern Festival. £1,000 for 5 love letters from that mucky pup. The Mirror told on Saturday how the 20-year-old from Ledbury spurned Flynn, who begged to see her again. She died in 1997. Nick Davies of Fielding's Auctioneer said the letters are a fascinating insight into Flynn and how his mind worked and his persistence. He was not used to being turned down by anybody, and I mean anybody.
Travel news for beds, cards and bugs.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
Well, just checking the A1M, it's really slow southbound from Letchworth down to Stevenage this morning, and northbound is also looking very heavy up towards the Stevenage turn at Junction 8. As a result, the A602 out of Hitchin, quite a long queue towards the A1M. M1 heavy southbound in patches from Milton Keynes down towards Bedford, and then it's slow moving from Toddington Services down to 9 Redbourne. The accident on the northbound M1, that's now cleared from Junction 9. Anti-clockwise M25 from 21 down to 16, slow in patches this morning. Very busy into Aylesbury, I've just spotted, especially on the A41 heading down from Waddesdon Manor. And trains, they're okay, no significant problems across the 3 counties. I'm James Worley, BBC Three Counties Radio.
Across beds, hearts and bugs.
This is BBC Three Counties Radio.
It's 8:30, I'm Simon Oxley. The government is contacting British people living in Greece and is also offering advice to holidaymakers after the Greek people rejected an international bailout. Family doctors have raised renewed concerns about the level of support available for people with dementia and their carers. And St Albans District Council has ended its legal challenge against the controversial rail freight terminal on the old Radlett Aerodrome site in Park Street.
Three Counties Sports.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
Victory for Lewis Hamilton at the British Grand Prix at Silverstone yesterday. The Hertfordshire driver extended his World Championship lead to 17 points ahead of Mercedes teammate Nico Rosberg, who was second. Hamilton has also joined Nigel Mansell in winning at Silverstone 3 times.
Anyone who says that Formula One's boring must be crazy at the moment, because I think we've just had an epic race, and I predicted it before the race weekend. It's turned out the way it has, and we've got a superb winner.
In football, Watford are being strongly linked with Tottenham duo Etienne Capoue and Benjamin Stambouli. Meanwhile, the Hornets have sold England under-21 goalkeeper Jonathan Bond to Reading for an undisclosed fee. Luton have signed winger Danny Green following his release by Milton Keynes Dons. Green, who played for Hatters boss John Still at Dagenham, becomes Luton's 9th summer signing. And the USA have won the Women's World Cup, beating Japan 5-2 in the final. Andy Murray is back in action at Wimbledon later with a last 16 tie against the big serving Ivo Karlovic. Looking ahead, here's Russell Fuller.
Karlovic warmed up for Wimbledon the only way he knows how, by serving a world record 45 aces for a 3-set match en route to the semi-finals in Halle. He served a further 136 in the first week of Wimbledon, and on Saturday claimed the notable scalp of Jo-Wilfried Tsonga. Karlovic may be 36 and have lost all 5 of his matches with Murray, but with his serve and a 6'11" frame, it's no surprise that Britain's last hope in the singles describes this as a very, very tricky match. The match is second on centre after the Williams sisters play their first Grand Slam match since the 2009 Wimbledon final.
And Milton Keynes Olympic long jump champion Greg Rutherford won the British Championships in Birmingham yesterday, despite a performance he described as dreadful.
I mean, I've come away with a win, and that's great and everything else, but my jumping today was terrible. For whatever reason, I was missing that spark at the end to actually take off and do anything decent. I felt pretty good on the runway, but every time I planted my foot down, nothing was happening.
BBC Three Counties News and Sport. The next full bulletin is at 9.
Local and vocal across beds, hearts and bucks.
This is Iain Lee.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
I think it's just gone politically correct.
In it, though. 03459 455 555 is the phone number. If you want to give us a call, you're more than welcome to. Considering this is a show where we tend not to do the in inverted commas Muslim phone-in. There are some radio stations where, flipping it, they bang on about it all the time. All the time. I'm bored of it as a listener, but we kind of do bring them up when there's an important story. One story I'm struggling to get my head around is this family of 12 from Luton. I don't understand why it's such a big deal. I can understand why it got some coverage on the day. I can understand why we did it, because they're local and we're a local radio station and we, it's a big local story for a day. But then it just seems that it's constantly in the press, and I can't quite... Am I being dumb? I just can't quite understand why it's such a big thing.
I think the fascination is we still can't get over the fact that people can live in this country and take all the opportunities it has to offer and then throw it back in our faces.
Is that what they've done? They've thrown it back in our faces? They've made a decision to go and live somewhere else? Is that throwing it back in our faces?
But they've also added a little sort of Yaboo socks, haven't they?
In what respect?
You can stick... They said that we'd thrust democracy in their faces, made them have it.
Oh, is that what they said? Is that their statement?
Yeah.
Okay, all right. What I do love about this story is everybody is guessing. Everybody's guessing. Everybody's making assumptions. Oh, yeah, but the mum has got cancer and the dad has got diabetes. They've got hospitals in Syria. It's not. They're not living in caves. It's quite an advanced country. It's the people. Not everyone's living in poverty. They've got hospitals. They'll have insulin. I think they've got insulin over there. Is that what you have for diabetes?
Yeah, you do.
There we go.
You need that. Yeah.
Excellent stuff.
Quite
indeed.
Important.
Steve's on line too. Good morning, Stephen.
Good morning. What a wonderful day.
What would you like to say?
Well, I don't know what the fuss is. If they want to go, let them go. I should imagine the majority of people don't even care, to be honest.
I wonder if people do. Yeah, I wonder if people do care. I don't. I think it was. You know.
Not really.
Hello. I think it's.
Hello.
Yes, thank you. I think it was. It was kind of interesting when it happened, and I think that we were right to talk about it on this show and this station because it's a local story. But I don't. I suppose, Stephen, it opens. Excuse me. I suppose, Steve, it opens up the conversation as to what, if anything, should be done with people who want to go and live under IS. But it does seem odd that it's a story that keeps, popping up.
Yeah, but put it this way, they're no threat to us. The security service and the police have got enough to do with proper terrorists that are in this country or around the world without worrying about 12 people from Luton or from wherever going to Syria. I mean, people move around the world every day. So why are we worried about 12 people from Luton or from wherever?
Supposing they come back.
Well, this is the problem. We don't want them to come back because some of these people will be taught as terrorists, and then they might be able to bomb us. They're a threat to our society.
Supposing they come back, though.
Well, they shouldn't be allowed to come back.
No, but they are. We have no right to stop them coming back.
Well, you need to change the law then.
No, but it's not British law. It's international law. We have no right to stop them coming back.
Well, let's change to a republic, pull out of Europe and do how we want to do without anyone dictating to us.
That's a sensible answer, Steve. Why had nobody else thought of it?
A referendum for a republic, close the borders, mark everyone in, mark everyone out, who's coming in,
How likely,
who's going out.
Steve, in the world of reality, just put your feet back down on the ground if you can for a second. In the world of reality, Steve, how likely is that to happen?
Well, the way things are going, I mean...
How likely is what you're asking for to happen? Never!
No, it can be. Of course it can be.
It
you just got to have a party
won't
that pushes it forward.
Ever happen.
Why? What's wrong with having a republic and dictating? We're supposed to be a sovereign country and we're dictated by Europe.
I'm not saying there's anything wrong with it. All I'm saying is...
I think that is a ridiculous idea.
And she's 3! Thank you, Steve. 03459 455 555. Hey, Matty Bum Bum, how you doing now? Hey, Matty Bum Bum, give me a banana, daylight come. Sorry?
Shut up and listen. Right? Steve's right. Don't let them back in. We don't want them. If they want to go there, let them go. Look at all the other people that have left this country. I got a daughter who lives in Ireland. I didn't ask her to go. Nobody forced her to go. I've got a brother who lives in Spain. Nobody forced him to go. And he lives in Spain and loves it. Good luck to him. This is the best country in the world. Let's not keep pulling it down. If they don't like this country, they should not stay here. And the girl with all... Davina, she's like a rash on that TV. I thought I'd have a right go at you today, and I feel good about it, and I feel I've got a lot of work to do today. Now, I'm so pleased I've had a little go at you, Iain, and you've let me have my say. Thank you very much.
Matt's talking out of his bum. He is talking out of his bum. He's talked about Muslims and Islamic State and then Davina Merkel. He's talking right out of his bum. He's put the phone down. He couldn't handle the conversation. He went from IS to Davina. 1 second he's telling me to shut up, and then he's talking about Islamic State. Then he starts talking about how Davina's someone that he hates. Oh, Matty Bum Bum, you're talking out of your bum bum. He's gone from IS to Davina Merkel. What a silly call.
Can you put Fader 3 down for me?
Oh, of course I can. I do apologise. Sorry. Put that in the pod. I'm like, we're not allowed to play Neil Young, Journey, or Bonnie Raitt. We're not allowed to because of something that's going on with copyright. Who needs those guys when you got this guy writing songs like that? I wrote that song about 10 years ago for my first album, and I was just thinking, one day the opportunity will arise where that song will fit. And that opportunity, guys, was today.
Are you listening, Adele? How long's it taken you to pull your finger out?
Do you remember the first Adele? The first Adele girl.
Adele.
No. There was another Adele girl, and then Adele came.
Adele.
We were looking for a plaintive female singer who was a little bit bland, not offensive. We found her in Adele, but before that, there was the girl. She rode a bicycle for a Pepsi advert.
Thank you very much for your call.
Oh, what was her name? You know the one, guys. She rode a bicycle for a Pepsi advert. Duffy.
Oh.
Do you remember Duffy, the first Adele?
I bought that album.
Yeah, I
wish
bet
I
you
hadn't.
did.
It was my fault.
Yeah.
Let's go through all. I'll come to the. I'll come to the scores in a second, right? Let's go through all the first Adeles. There was Duffy.
Dido.
There was Dido.
Flipping Dido.
Dido. There was Gem.
Oh yeah. Stop! I've got that on my iPod.
I've got that on my iPod. It's quite a good album actually, but she's
She needs to cheer up.
Yeah, she's prequel Adele. She's prequel
Pradelle.
Adele. She's Pradelle. There was another one that was like Duffy.
Do you know who I found on my iPod this morning?
Oh.
Lucy Silvers.
Who? Aye. God,
She was good. She's played the piano like Adele.
You wonder why I don't let you... Katie Melua. You wonder why I don't let you play the iPod, your iPod.
You should.
There was another... 03459 455 555 81333. We're looking for Pradelles.
This is Iain Lee
on BBC Three Counties Radio.
Kev's on the line. Morning, Kev.
Hey, morning, Ian. Great song. Love it.
Thanks. Thank you very much indeed. And I shall be releasing that as a single very, very soon. What you got for us, Kev?
Right. I was wondering, with this family of 12 that have gone to ISIS, one thing that hasn't been spoken about yet is where were they living? Were they living in a council house or did they have their own house?
I don't know.
Because, I mean, they've been away since April.
Yeah.
Now, if it's a council house or a couple of council houses, who's paying for it?
I don't know.
No.
No, I don't. Well, I don't know. Well, they won't be paying rent.
Well, no one's paying for it at the moment.
Well,
if that's the case.
Even if it's not the case, even if it's a private landlord, somebody somewhere is losing out. I know the point you're trying to make is that they're sponging off us and we're paying for it and we all of that stuff. But this is the thing with this whole story, Kev. We don't know. We don't know nothing about this family.
I know we've just been fed a little bit of sensationalism, and
yeah.
That's what they're running with at the moment.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm trying my best, Kev, thank you for that. I'm trying my best to not go down the sensationalist route, but sometimes it's very difficult. Let's go to Callan. Good morning, Callan.
Good morning. How are you?
I'm very, very well. I was confused by the A when I was expecting an O, but it doesn't matter. It all works.
Well, that makes me a foreigner.
It makes you a foreigner. Of course it does. A British person would have had an O as their second letter, their first vowel. Absolutely. You foreigners with your crazy vowels. What have you got for us, Callan?
Well, about these 12 fellas from Luton. You know what? It's fine. They left. We have to let them back. But there is a way. They would be subject to the anti-terrorism law, and I think that will cut their desire to return, because under this anti-terrorism law they can be held for just about indefinitely. And I'm absolutely sure that people here would have lots of questions for them. That's all.
Catherine, you raised a good point in my ear.
How sure are you that they're terrorists? Haven't they just moved?
Well, they've moved to a hostile territory that has declared war to every civilized country in the world. They have killed...
But Syria hasn't. Syria hasn't. And Catherine and I have got a friend, a vague colleague, who has Syrian family. You know, Syrians aren't terrorists.
Not all Syrians are terrorists. However, according to the latest updates on the government website, it's strongly not recommended to travel.
Oh, I wouldn't want to go there.
That's one thing. And second, Syria is actually considered, at least by the United States, as a terrorist sponsoring terrorism country. Yeah. So obviously they would be subject to this anti-terrorist law because there was no reasonable reason for them to travel to that country.
Yes, there is, because they want to live under a certain regime. They're allowed to choose that, aren't they?
Yeah, absolutely. They can go, they can leave. Nobody says they cannot return. They can even come back. They're British citizens. They can come back. However, they would be subject to the interrogation or detention for a certain time of period until the authorities here are satisfied that there is nothing that could threaten the country.
OK, Callie, thank you very much indeed. 03459 455 555. Can I just lighten the mood ever so slightly? Would you mind? Is that OK?
No, actively encourage it.
Thank you. Oh, no, hang on a second. I've just gone... Hang on. Here we go. Computer? Computer?
A biddly bong.
Thank you. That's, and
Happy
this...
to help.
Shut up and listen.
There we go. That is powerful, isn't it?
Yeah.
Shut up and listen.
That sounds like the kind of man who has snapped and he's holding a revolver pointed at you. And all it is because you once played music a little bit too loud at 3 o'clock in the morning and he's kicked off. That's all that is. Oh, blimey, look at the time. I'm late for this.
Travel news for beds, cards and bugs.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
Well, let's start on the A1M. Really slow southbound 9 to 7 this morning. That's Letchworth down to Stephen, as you can see on the speed sensors. Also delays are just spotted on the A414 into Hertford, east and westbound. I think it's all down to roadworks. And just be aware, out of Hitchin on the A602 down to the A1M. That is still very slow because of congestion on the A1M this morning. M1 starting to ease a little bit south of Toddington services down towards 9 Redbourne. Anti-clockwise M25, well, that's slow from, I would say, 19 to 16 now. M40 is looking pretty good. A404, though, still heavy passing Marlow, heading down to Maidenhead on the 404. And as for the trains, well, a good service this morning. James Worley, BBC Three Counties Radio.
Thank you, James. Right, it's 8:47. It's Monday, the 6th of July. I'm Iain Lee. These are your headlines. The government is contacting British people living in Greece and also offering advice to holidaymakers after the Greek people rejected an international bailout. Family doctors have raised renewed concerns about the level of support available for people with dementia and their carers, and a relative of the family of 12 from Luton, who are understood to have travelled to Syria, has urged them to return home. It's time to get the weather.
Shut up and listen.
Beds, Herts and Bucks weather.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
Well, a fair amount of sunshine around for many of us this morning, but the further west you are, the more cloud today, and that building for many of us as we head into the afternoon. It's medium level cloud with highs of 22 degrees Celsius. There is a slight chance that for more western parts you could just get the odd outbreak of rain just slipping in. Tonight, though, largely dry and clear with lows of 13 degrees. And tomorrow, a cooler start to the day. Some rather heavy showers pushing northeastwards. So we'll see most of those in the morning. So quite a lot of cloud around then too, but we do see some breaks in the afternoon to let some sunny spells through, but that also could then kick off some further showers. But for many of us, quite a nice end to the day with highs at 23 degrees Celsius. Wednesday, a bit more cloudy with some outbreaks of rain on the cards. A northerly wind flow brings some cooler air in, so feeling quite a bit cooler than it has been recently on Wednesday and Thursday. Drier on Thursday though, with more hope of sunshine as high pressure starts to build from the southwest. And on Friday, much warmer once more and drier too. That's your latest forecast.
Nick Coffer on BBC Three Counties Radio.
The book is all about how you can use nature to make walking a detective game. There's no cost to spending 10 minutes looking at all this stuff. 3 mums from Hertfordshire have got something a little bit different planned. This weekend they're walking 100 kilometres.
We've done lots of training and we're aiming to complete it within 24 hours.
Nick Coffer.
Is that a maze in front of your house?
It's called a parterre.
Oh, it's a parterre, is it?
I planted it myself with 540 plants, so I know it's a parterre.
Award-winning Milton Keynes sports journalist Mike Calvin has written Gareth Thomas's autobiography.
I've got to think what you think, I've got to see what you see, I've got to hear what you hear, and that will be an inherently painful process.
Nick Coffer, weekdays from 12 on BBC Three Counties Radio.
There's a good Pradell. Have you seen the Pradell?
No.
Someone suggested Beverly Craven.
Yeah.
I would have some. Like Gem, we've got Dido. That's the other one I was thinking of, as well as Duffy. Ellie Goulding. Ellie Goulding was pre-Dell.
No, I don't think she was pre.
She was pre-Dell.
She's post-Dell, isn't she?
She's pre-Dell. She released her first album in 2010. When did Adele do it? When she was 20? She was 21.
No,
she was 21.
19.
When she was 20. Sorry,
She's 19.
So when did she release that?
When she was 19.
No, she didn't release it when she was 19. Kiss it.
She wrote it when she was 19.
Thank you.
Let's just check this out.
Yeah, let's check it. Listen. If we don't like anything, hang on. No, if we do like stuff, we like facts, don't we? Just.
We do, boss. We do indeed.
When did Adele release 19? It's really important because if we don't find out, we don't know if
2008.
So exactly. So Ellie Goulding is Pradell.
No, you said
Ellie Goulding is Pradell. Stay there, Justin. I want to bring Nadeem onto the radio with me because it's a really cool place to hang out. Hi, Nadeem.
Hi, mate. Good morning.
What have you got for us?
Just wondering about all this conversation going on about this family going to IS or whatever. First of all, we don't have all the information, so therefore we cannot take a decision. And second of all, my point was that if they want to go, surely we should not stop people who want to go, and we want to keep the people who want to stay in the country rather than force people to stay with us. If they've got, if they do not want to stay and follow the law of the country and appreciate what we've got, then let them go, because there are people dying to come to UK.
Why are we all interested in this? Or why are a significant number of people interested in this story?
No, it's just nobody can get their head around as to why would anybody in their right mind, especially someone who is as ill as that, you've just mentioned that they've got cancer and all that kind of stuff. I cannot get my head around why would anybody would go to a country like that. As we said earlier on, we are all speculating and guessing, so we don't have the right information with us. Nobody's got the correct information, but I cannot get my head around why would an 80-year-old guy would go to a war zone, and especially they don't have the right facilities. They don't.
How do you know that? How do you know that?
I think is it not they are in a completely war zone and they're desperate for things.
No.
Surely they cannot have the infrastructure like UK. Surely, the doctors and the.
No, but this is the thing. Everyone thinks that Syria is like some backwards country where everyone's living in caves. It's not. It's a developed country.
Oh, as good as UK? Okay.
Maybe not as good as the UK, but I'm looking at pictures of it. Look, it looks really nice. It looks lovely. I mean, you click on the ones where everything's been bombed, it doesn't look quite so good, but Syria is a developed country. Steve's on the line. Morning, Steve.
Morning, Ian.
What would you like to say, boss?
I'm just wondering if this family actually even exists, because no one seems to know anything about it. No one seems to know, whys or wherefores. So perhaps they don't even exist, and it's just a fabrication of, I don't know.
Who would fabricate such a thing?
Mate, I don't know at all who would fabricate stuff like that just to kind of keep things stirring.
Oh. Are you suggesting, and I like these kind of conspiracy theories, Steve, are you suggesting that maybe this whole family is a construct of the government so that we have somebody to fear and be angry with that isn't David Cameron?
Yes, very probably, mate. That would be something I would suggest.
I don't believe it, but it's certainly an interesting train of thought to play with, because it is often argued, isn't it, that we all need a bogeyman, we all need a bad guy to hate, so it kind of diverts us from, I don't know, £12 billion worth of benefit cuts about to be announced in 2 days' time.
Yeah, that's precisely my point. I mean, it's always there's always someone in the press. It was Jihadi John. It was someone else. It's Anjam. It's this. It's that. Really, I don't know. There's surely I don't care about these people.
Steve, I've got to move on because I'm going to go back to Daly. Daly's got a piece for us, but I have to say, I don't really buy into many conspiracy theories, although Princess Diana one, I kind of, I think there was something more going on there. But, JFK was probably shot by one bloke. The people that crashed into the Twin Towers, it was probably, a dozen people. It wasn't, the American government So I don't buy your theory, Steve, but I always love discussing those theories.
I think it is handy to have a distraction, isn't it?
Of course. Well, we always have. We had the Nazis, then we had the Reds under the bed, and then in the 80s we had communist Russia.
And in the 90s, a good day to bury bad news.
Exactly. You see, exactly. Justin,
Loving that call.
I love it. I love it.
Yeah.
Conspiracy theorists are welcome always on this show, and they will be challenged, and I probably won't buy them, but I do like hearing them. Anyway, who's on telly too much, Just?
For me, I would say at the moment probably Holly Willoughby, probably on TV too much. For me personally, yes, very nice lady, lovely figure as well. But for me, a little bit too much on TV.
Okay, well, she's a delightful lady, but I can understand your point. Point taken. We're going to discuss geezers in a minute, which I don't know if you heard us mentioning. It's an idea we've got. But you have taken this to the street, haven't you?
Yeah, you've been asking this morning for you who is on TV too much. The same sort of names coming up here. But here's what the streets had to say this morning, boss.
Chris Evans.
What have you got against gingers?
I haven't got anything against ginger people. Who are you?
My name's J-Dog.
All right. Keith Lemon.
Keith Lemon?
I hate him.
Why do you hate him? Come on, talk to me.
I can't stand him.
He's too over the top.
He's too over. He's
And
crude.
too rude.
He's crude and rude.
You see, deep down, I think you've got the hots for him.
No, I haven't. I can assure you. I can assure you.
So if he said to you, come on, let's go out for a fish finger sandwich, you would say no?
Definitely.
And you're all creamed up this morning already. Good for you. Who's on TV too much?
Simon Cowell. I'm just fed up with reality shows.
Yeah.
Yeah, totally fed up with them.
You know his shirts.
Yeah.
Do you find them a turn on?
No. Or his high-waisters.
Nothing about the Cowmeister turns you on?
Absolutely nothing. Not his dyed hair, nothing.
So if he was here and he said, I'll tell you what, I'll cream you up this morning, I'll put that cream on your back, you'd say no?
No, I don't want to.
You're a hard woman to please, you are.
Not really.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot.
So, can I ask you a quick question? Have I got swag? Swag? Eric, great name, great vibe. Eric, who's on TV too much?
Noel Edmonds.
Does his beard make you sick?
Yeah, he does. Yes, he does.
Stephen Fry.
Stephen Fry?
Yeah.
Simon Cowell.
What's up with Simon Cowell?
He's just on everything, mate. He's trying to get the monopoly on television.
If he was walking down this street right now, what would you say to him face to face?
Find some people that can sing.
Great advice, thank you.
Cheers, mate.
Look at you two. Roof down, beautiful morning. Who's on TV too much?
Ant and Dec.
What's wrong with Ant and Dec?
Nothing's wrong with them, but they're just constantly on the telly. There, in your face the whole time.
Would you say it to their face?
Probably not.
Let's leave it there, you're all mouth.
What's going on with your trousers today, Just?
What do you mean? What?
It says on my screen I've got to ask you about your trousers. What's wrong with his trousers?
Oh, well, I know what you're getting at there, yeah. Because they're quite tight.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, in the last week or so, I've lost 3 packets of cigarettes. They just popped out.
Oh, mate.
It's like the other day when you were telling me about squeezing a banana out the skin.
Hey, what? Hey, come on, guys. Let's keep it clean. Listen, we've not got much time, Justin. I've come up with an idea for a TV show I think will be great for ITV2, maybe even ITV4. 10:30 at night. It's called Geezers. It's filmed in a mock-up of your flat.
Or in his flat.
Yeah, I think it's got to be a mock-up because I want it to be a little bit bigger. And basically, you invite geezers round, and it might be some football geezer.
Yeah.
It might be like a cop. It might be Dennis. It might be a coppo who's a geezer. It could be anybody who's geezers, and then you just like hang out and chat.
Well, I think it's a fantastic idea. I think my first guest would be Chaz from Chaz and Dave.
Oh, you see? He's already got it!
Yeah, exactly. And also, on my show in a couple of weeks' time, we're having a Geezers Day.
Yeah.
So songs like Chaz and Dave, Ain't No Pleasing You. We're going to have 2 hours of songs for the geezers, by the geezers. So this TV show could be an absolute winner.
Just let me think about it, Justin. I know people. Well, Paul Scoins, he's got a camera. We'll film it.
Travel news for beds, cards and bugs.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
Really slow on the A1M passing Stevenage down from Letchworth, we can see on the speed sensors, and that's causing quite a queue out of Hitchin on the A602 towards the A1M. The M1 is busy in patches south of Bedford down towards Toddington Services, and then it's quite heavy down towards Redbourne. Anti-clockwise M25 is slow moving from 17 to 16 approaching the M40, and as for the M40 itself, that's moving along very well. On to trains, well, no reported problems this morning for trains across the 3 counties. I'm James Wally, BBC Three Counties Radio.
James, thank you very much indeed. Right, that's it, guys. That's your lot. Hey, podcast heaven, guys. Go to the BBC Three Counties website. No, me neither. Go to iTunes then and type in Iain Lee. My podcast will pop up. Oh, cheeky. Download it. Last week's is a good un, guys. It's a good un. Back tomorrow at 6. Till then, from us, ta-ta.
Local and vocal across beds, hearts and bucks.
This is BBC Three Counties Radio.
Thank you, Iain, and good morning. It's Monday morning. You're listening to the JVS show on BBC Three Counties Radio. Tim Wheeler in for JVS. And this morning, I want to ask you, what's your reaction to what Sanawar and Omar have said? Two young Muslim men from Luton have told this radio station they know the family of 12 thought to be in Syria, and if they chose to go there, there's nothing wrong with what they've done. Sanawar and Omar told the Yasmin Khan show the family must want to live in a strict Islamic society to be better Muslims, and it's hard to be a very strict Muslim in this country. When asked